the volume down a bit. There we go. Stop. Well, good morning, Mana Mana. You're the first one here. And you probably already liked it already. That's the main thing. Well, what are we going to do today? I've got something special lined up for today, but we'll get to that shortly. Just wait for the troops to arrive. We've got 5 people watching now. There we go. Stephen Monash there, is he? Hello, Stephen Monash. Are you there? Get a grip, man. Don't forget, we've got the Discord channel, so you know the Discord channel link there. It's in the description box below. If you haven't set it up already, there is a video. Maggie's Journey, good morning. And Colin in Thailand, good morning. So we've got one from the north and one from the west. I'm doing pretty good, Maggie. Okay, so let's get the show on the road. Let's quickly do this channel roundup. Okay, where are we? Let me get out of the face. Get my face out of the middle of things. Here we go. Starting. Okay, so what did Warren do today? I do this since Monday. What did Warren do? Okay, we did that house hunting one. Mark Loveridge, good morning. And Javier, hello, how are you? That sounds very French to me. So this week, of course, we had live chat Monday and then the house hunting one. Seems to be quite a lot of action going on that house hunting one. So a lot of comments on that one. What have we got up next? No Time to Be Sad. I believe he's still he's still in the Sunshine State. I think he's going to come home soon. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Thailand Unplugged, he's been sort of rolling out his usual news and views in his own inimitable style with people like Mark Loveridge. There we go, Stephen, get a grip. Colin in Thailand, yes, he had another video out 1 day ago. So that's a bit of a strange one for you, Colin. You normally only put it out on a Sunday. So where did you go to? Hindut Hot Spring. Haven't been to that one, but might have to check that one out and go for a ride out there and check that one out. Dan in Thailand, he's been plugging away, building his media. Father Ted's Irish pub in Hua Hin, and the grueling Bangkok. I think he did another trip back into Bangkok. And David Daly, he's did a flight there into Manila. Not quite in Bangkok quite yet. Bangkok Travel. What do we got? Bangkok Travel. So he's just doing his. Oh, by the way, Bangkok Travel. He's just released his live stream, podcast. Now I don't easily have access to the actual link. I'm sure that if he gets on a bit later, if you see him pop up, he can probably put a link up to the podcast. I think I've got it on Spotify somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. SPOTIFY, Spotify. That's not really what I'm looking for. Okay. It's probably on my other page, which makes it really hard to get to. Let me just see there. SPOT. Spotify web player. Bear with me just a second. There we go. Spotify, log in. Yeah, yes, that's me. Yeah, so I agree. I've already done that. What's it asking me again? Bloody nuisance thing. What the? There's the thing. That's pop filler. What the? Anyway, look, I'm not going to try to get there. It's just too much. That's the thing with Spotify. They don't make it easy to get into something. For crying out loud. That's why I don't use the damn thing. It's a pain in the ass. Works all right on your phone, but when I web browser, it's completely useless. 12 people watching. Yes, the 4 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, 5. Yeah. Anyway, but he did release that. So Bangkok Travel, he does a podcast, and he's been interviewing Thai women or Thai, nationals who moved to England, and as a counterpoint, he sort of did an interview with me when he came out here last, So that's up on Spotify now, and I think it's also up in the Apple Play Store or Apple whatever Apple things, the Apple iTunes or something or other. Yeah. Nid, what's she up to? Another live stream. Was it 16 hours ago? That's last night, was it? Okay. 21 hours ago. She looks like she did two and what? Okay, she did a video and a live stream. She's been pretty heavy with the live streams anyway. Building her subscriber account up. Fun for Emily. That's a popular video. Let's quickly just change the page. That's right, he did this thing on the vegetarian. I think he's done that a few times over the years. I find it quite gruesome, this whole vegetarian festival where they shove spikes through your body. Oh my God. But if you want to check that one out, go and check his channel out. It's just like a horror movie stuff. I should play the Skyhooks theme. Horror movie. Do More Life. He was just finished his live stream up. SM, Stephen, so Thailand Joe, how are you doing? We are watching you Frank CCWC. Okay. So he was just on a live stream about, just before he started. We vegetarians are serious, yeah. So he's been talking about Bangkok. He just finished that 11 minutes ago, so it's probably not even rendered yet. Brian's Thailand, still building up north in Chiang Mai. We got Ethan. What's his? I wish they'd put their uploads first. It'd be nice. Patia local treasures. My local teachers us how to say Patia. I think we're always going to argue about that one. Chanya says Patia. They've got to talk like Chanya. It's okay. Patia. Nick. He's doing another run around with the new bar on the runway. A big fat bestie. I believe he's on his way out to Thailand at the moment. 3 awesome hacks for arriving in Bangkok circumvent. Pattaya. You reckon that's what it is? Pattaya, Stephen. Well, unless of course you're going to go and come on our Discord and actually say it yourself, I'm not going to listen. I've told you how to do that. Serena, oh God, I haven't even got translator. Well, let me see if I can get a translate this page. Is it going to translate the page for me? Fake criminals, Facebook. People know to borrow. I'm not quite sure what that is. People are fake criminals, Facebook. People know to borrow money, not careful, may become insolvent. Yeah, whatever. Obviously, she's just continuing her stuff. She's not back in Thailand yet, from what I understand. Thailand Joe, is Mana asleep at the wheel? Someone wake him up. Oh, he was. He's probably gone up to pester somebody or other else. But it's all good. It said my mate, RUXP4, little video there from the shores of the river in Cambodia. Talk back Thailand. I believe I haven't even caught up with a couple of people yet. Looks like they want to put me in the hot seat this afternoon on this one. So stay tuned for that one. Still haven't worked out what the hot seat's all about. I think they want to ask me some really down to earth questions. I said, yeah, whatever. I got no secrets. Thai girl gift. She's running around at a local market there. Maggie. What's Maggie been doing? Let's go to her page. Live alert, outdoor stream, 8 hours ago. Is that an ad, was it, Maggie? I'm not quite sure. I haven't checked these out for a few days. So, cheap shop in Phuket. That's right, you're down in Phuket now, aren't you, Maggie? When are you coming back to Bangkok? Come on. Ian Welldale, up in sunny Changdao. Changdao? Is that how you say it? Street Delicious. She's back there eating food. I haven't got Fi's channel up here. She's only just joined the thing. I'm being really slack. I need a link for Fi's channel to put it in. I'll get it in for Monday. Yeah, so she's eating some durian. It looks like it. No, that's 2 months ago. Where is it? Uploads. Thai mini crisp pancakes. Yes, she's sort of Thai cook. She does a lot of Thai cooking. This one. Robert Mack, he's still in Vietnam. Foreigner Joe, again, still running around in the US. He still hasn't got back yet. Andy Wright. So I'm always plugging down. Look, as I said, everybody is on any. If that's what I just clarify, that if you're on the Thailand hub or you know me personally, right, and you're doing Thailand content, I'll make sure you go up on the list. I'm not going to run around and try to find every Thailand vlogger because we'd never get it finished because everybody's doing Thailand these days. So it's Thailand hub patrons and people I know directly. Then you get a plug. Channel update. What's he doing? Okay, let's sort of see what's his recent. So, message to the hypercare. Poor Andy. He still gets hounded by the trolls. It's a bit of a shame. But really, if you're going to go fishing, it's just a fishing exercise. Leave them alone, and they'll find somebody else to pester. But you just can't leave it alone. But I think it just amuses him. I'm sure it must be that's part of it. Graham and Pie live stream, that was 2 hours ago. I must have missed that one. So she's been doing a few of these live streams in the morning, keeping her busy. And Outboard Thailand, here's another farm update. So he's giving sort of a bit of a rundown on his farm and his farming exploits. You know how it goes. And that's about all we got for that. Now, what are we going to talk about today? We've got 13 people watching. We've got a bit of a sort of a slow start for the day. What have we got into? We're into 10 minutes into this live stream. Warren said Maggie's nickname is No, you said Maggie's nickname was Magpie. Don't get me. Don't rope me into that stuff. Seriously. Anyway, what I had lined up for today, just something different. Yeah, I know somebody's going to say something about the backdrop there. That's overlooking the river there with the nice bridge. But I do have something special lined up for today. And where is it? Here we go. And we'll press the play button. Let's go for a ride while we have a chat. Might have to turn the volume down a bit, I don't know. Volume menu. Just check everything out. I don't think it's too loud, does it? It's not too loud. I had Stephen in. I was coming back from. Actually, it's a bit on the loud side for me too. Distracting, but yeah. Turn it down a bit more. Yeah, so I had Stephen. Stephen Monash has got himself his little webcam and he's got his headphones and microphone. Never plugs the audio because you don't have a channel, Stephen. But yeah, so he was. They called me on Facebook Messenger 2 days ago, and I was coming back from ASOC along the MRT. So I grabbed out my mobile phone and I started streaming from my mobile phone directly to him. Just reminding him how much he missed Bangkok, missed Thailand in general. Bangkok, because he used to sort of teach in Bangkok. But yeah, and he quite enjoyed how long was it? We were live streaming my ride home and on the train and taxi for about an hour, wasn't it? Maybe an hour and a half. And he said he really enjoyed it. So then we got to talking. Well, maybe we should do a long ride video as a backdrop, just so people can get an idea what Thailand's really like. Anyway, I just moved that down, a bit more view on the screen there. Okay, so is Mana Sleepy? Thanks everyone for the plug. Yeah. Lisa Tats, where is Mana? We miss him very much. He's there, I'm sure. He may be just fallen asleep somewhere. Yes, this is the ride we did out going west, out to Kachanamburi, up around the big lake there to Sisawat. And there was a video I did last year when we did that, but I didn't actually. I think I posted a long play version, but you had to go and find it. It wasn't public. So I'm actually going to stream the whole thing today while we have a chat. Or for as long as we have a chat for. If it gets boring, then we'll just turn it off. But people sort of quite often ask me what it's like to ride in Thailand. We always get these, what do you call it, the shots of traffic and all that sort of stuff. But this is a nice, I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday morning. Was it a Sunday ride or a Saturday ride? I can't remember what day it was. So obviously we had to go and fill up some fuel. Wazza is not really riding the bike, it's a stuntman. Yeah, well, you can't really see me in the mirror, can you? But yeah, so we had to stop him for fuel. You have 9 subs, do you, Stephen? Really? And Terry, I'm not one of your subs. I'm terrible. Anyway, so stopped him for fuel for a couple of guys. Well, I filled up before I got there, and I think just 1 or 2 people didn't get their fuel, so we got some fuel. I'm driving via Navigate because I'm on the cruiser and everybody else is on sports bikes. And as you'll see throughout the ride, oh my God, these guys are maniacs. Mana said he was glad his baby was white and I'm proud. But this is really the best way to sort of see Thailand, getting the idea of the differences between what I sort of like the rural, the farming area. We are going to go from pretty much the centre of the city here. Well, it's actually on the western side of the main river. It's still, effectively in the built-up centre area there. This is the Sky Highway, and we're going to sort of head out the city. Traffic's not too bad at this time of the morning. Traffic only really gets bad between the peak hour, which is like 7 a.m. till about 11 a.m. And then 3 p.m. to about 8 p.m. at night, or 4 p.m. till about 9 p.m. at night. They're the 2 peak hour periods. But on a Sunday, the traffic's actually not too bad to go for a ride. And the road systems generally are quite well made, apart from all the bumps in the road. There's my mate Dan on his Ducati Davio. Nice wide tyre on that thing, isn't it? Anyway, so while we're watching the cruise and everybody's sort of joining in to watch the ride, let's talk about Thailand. So, I've just put that on. Let's talk about Thailand. Come on, let's start talking. What questions have you got? Or were you totally fascinated with the ride? Don't forget, this ride goes for nearly 3 hours, so we've got a lot of footage. Probably another month before we get to the dry season again, the cool season. We should be able to organise some more rides then. Actually, look, rain hasn't been too bad for today, for the last few days. Oh, by the way, this is my new phone. I went to the mobile phone expo yesterday. Oh, the day before yesterday. Bought a new phone. It's the Realme. Island Boy, isn't it hot in jackets in Thailand? Well, the jacket I've got is one of those mesh jackets, so you've got a good airflow. So when you're riding, you don't actually get that hot because it's like I've only got a t-shirt underneath. So you get a full airflow going through the jacket. Malcolm, have we been looking at? We have looked at a couple of other places. I'm just waiting for Chanya to get some. Well, she's the boss. She has to make time to take off so we can go and look at more. I don't even know where to start looking. I know there's a few real estate places. Out there, or real estate websites we could look at and sort of see what's available in the area. But Thais generally don't publish, their houses for sale on these. Like in Australia, we have the Domain, which is probably the biggest, and the various, different establishments like, LJ Hooker and things like that. where people would normally go to as a first point of call for looking for, um, you know, buying a new house. Thailand's really not into that whole internet savvy, let's go find something. And if they do, it's usually in Thai, so I can't really write Thai much, so I can't really, you know, phrase a query on, you know, to find something. There are a few websites, but the listings are very, very sort of minimal. Um, yeah, so 20 people watching, well, 19 people watching, 20 people watching. I know one of them's me, so let's say 18. Um, but yeah, so the jackets don't get hot. Obviously, Dan's jacket there, that's a leather jacket. That does get hot, but I think he rides it fairly well open anyway. One of the things I do want to get, I wanted to get myself some vents, so little things you put in the sleeve that actually open the sleeve up. That also, when you're riding, it'll actually put airflow right down the arms. But I've got to order them from AliExpress. So here's us. So there's a good motorcycle there. No helmet on a freaking main road. Where's the police? Of course, we're sensible. We're riding with jackets and all the rest of the gear. Bar fines. I missed that one. What was it? Bar fines. The bar fines said you can do a review on Thai school uniforms for his daughter. Well, I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Can I do a review of Thai schoolgirl uniforms? Well, I'll talk about Sky Uni. I think we've done that actually on a couple of videos because we've got our niece who goes to school. But this is if you're looking at above the board, you know, like, I'm not going to get down and dirty with some of these comments, but when what's her name, Dan's young girl stays with us over the holidays, we always take her shopping and get the school uniforms. They're rather inexpensive, but don't forget, you know, like the 700 or 800 baht, you know, for the two uniforms, you know, the full dress, and then you know 500 baht for a pair of shoes, and then I think every year we got to buy her a new bag because the bags only last a year. You know, that 15, I think it's probably, you know, they're shy of 2,000 baht to get the girl ready for school up in Sukhothai. It can be quite a bit of a sort of press for these girls, you know, for the parents of the siblings. It can be a bit of a pain in the ass, that one. But yeah, so we've covered that in previous videos. I think that's around about April. You have to go back through in my video collection. Where are we? Sort of well done, ML. I saw. I was not sure. Oh, ML, Mark Loveridge. I'm trying to think, who's Mark Loveridge? ML, Mark Loveridge. God. Makes it easy if you just do the @ symbol and it fills it in automatically and I get the full name. Anyway, so here we are riding out west. I think we're just coming up to, I think, Sai Sam. Putamontan Sai Sam. Heading out to Nakhon Pathom. Nobody's tried to kill us yet. City, do you like the ride? I don't know. If you think if it's boring, just say so. I'll take it off. We'll do something else. But as I said, Stephen was fascinated just looking at the scenery and looking at Thailand in general. And the expressway above is now levelling out into the main road. I didn't have the smallest bike capacity on the run. I think there was a couple of 500cc sports bikes, but most of these bikes are 1000cc. Do you know how much? Do you know How do you know? Sorry, how do you know which part of the roads is slippery or not? You don't really know. Well, when it's wet, the roads are slippery. You can see the oil, the rubber area on the. Well, no, I can't really show you there. In the middle of there, you got the tyre areas. That centre between the tyres, that's where the oil will drop from a car. But generally, because there's so much water in Thailand, you don't get too slippery roads. The only time it really gets slippery is when it actually does rain. But of course the rain is so heavy it lifts the oil out of the road very quickly. Once you get a few days of dry spell, you don't get too much oil. It's really just that transition between wet and dry seasons, and when the rain just happens, that's when roads get slippery. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to keep up with the rest of them. My handlebars are about maybe 4 inches wider than most sports bikes. I can't lane split as easy as these guys. Oh, and that's one of the things that's coming up. The Department of Land Transport trying to bring in all these new rules for what they call high capacity motorcycles. They now want to introduce a rule, anything over 400 cc's, which is what they consider to be a high capacity motorcycle, they want to prohibit them from lane splitting. I don't know who comes up with these bloody ideas. Seriously, lane splitting, every scooter everywhere you go are always lane splitting, and they're doing it without helmets on. We're being sensible riding here, and they want to ban us from lane splitting. I don't know. Some people, I just think that people who make these rules have got no clue sometimes. Used to live in Nakhon Nayok. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look that up on the map there, Stephen. And pretending it's pretending it's you on the bike. Well, that's the whole idea. This is giving you the feeling of riding, out west on the roads. Okay, you don't get all the bumps and everything else, but get an idea of the sounds. I've got a new microphone inside the helmet now, so I can actually plug my microphone and actually record the audio. At the moment, the audio is only coming through the. This is like the housing for the camera, so it sort of cuts a lot of the sound out, so you don't really get a good audio. Yeah, but I've got a way of now picking up. It's got what they call an in-helmet mic, so I can actually record directly into the phone. Then I'll be able to do these rides, then stitch the audio track in there. Then you'll get a bit more of a better sound. Currently I've got a lot of revs noises because the wind and the way the casing works. Hopefully we'll be able to clean that sound up. Have I been to Pai? I'd have to look up where Pai is. I can sort of say I haven't been to Pai because I don't remember where Pai is. I believe it's up north. Oh, so obviously Stephen knows where Pai is. Now you're going to make me look it up. Look where Pai is, eh? Oh, right, okay. Where's Pai? Open my maps. Okay, it's Chiang Mai. Okay, right. Oh, okay, right up there. That's Mai Ping National Park. So it's actually not Pai. So I've been to Sukhothai and I've been to Tak, but not on the motorcycle. So we've driven there. I do plan to do some stuff up in Sukhothai at some stage, but it's just going to be me riding up there. It'd be okay if I could get Chanya to ride up with me, so at least we got two people to ride around. Because nobody up there has got big bikes, so it's just going to be me doing solo rides around. It's a bit of it's one of those sort of things. Have a look at it at some stage. Tommy J, good afternoon. Thanks for all the good information and entertainment. Yeah, well, we're going for a bike ride today. Not sure if there are a lot of hipsters there. These days, the hipsters. What, hipsters in Pai? It looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. I think the hipsters are more in Chiang Mai these days, aren't they? You don't know about lane splitting. You do know about shitting yourself. It's really not scary. Like, one of the things people have asked me a lot about, riding and motorcycles in Thailand. Now, you've got to understand that I've been riding motorcycles since the age of 15. Okay, I might have had a 15-year spell because I got lazy in Australia, and like we might have the rainy season here in Thailand last for 3 months, but Australia, it rains all the bloody time. People complain about the rainy season in Thailand, but it's always raining, and then it gets cold rain, and then you've got a motorcycle, and is it going to rain today? Am I going to ride the bike? You're going to take wet weather gear with you and all the and after so long, you just get so sick and tired of it that you fall to this whole thing. Oh, might as well take my bike and take my car, because I can't be bothered taking all my gear with me. So I got rid of the bike and hadn't ridden for 15 years. But that's when I came to Thailand. It was always my plan to get a bike again. So I started out the first year we were here. We bought the M-Slaz, which is the 150cc sports bikes, and I bought that specifically just to get a feel for the idiots on the road here. And when I say the idiots on the road, cars, although most drivers in Thailand actually grow up riding bikes, they have a lot of bike sense. It's the people in like the Honda drivers and the Mercedes drivers, the high-so, arseholes who have never ridden a bike in their life and they've always had somebody drive them. They're the ones you've got to watch out for, because they are not bike aware. So you soon know what to look out for and what sort of types of cars you're dealing with on a daily basis. But generally, sort of 80% of Thai drivers have ridden motorcycles, in their earlier life, so they've got an inbuilt driver awareness for motorcycles. If that's what I'm trying to sort of say. So it's really not a big problem, on riding on these roads. You just got to be a little bit predictive. You've got to have a fairly wide angle of view. Don't get focused on just ahead of you. You've got to look, 200 yards ahead. You're always keeping your eyes left and right. Although you don't see me moving the helmet too much, because I've got a fairly good wide vision on the helmet, and I can see pretty much 180 degrees, out through the helmet. So I know what's around me, and I can see my mirrors. I've always got my eyes on the mirrors, so you know what's coming up behind you. But yeah, so my suggestion, if you're going to ride a motorcycle in Thailand, definitely start on a low capacity around back streets and in the sois. Do that for a few months, and then maybe look at upgrading to a bigger bike if you're a bike rider. Island boy, she don't like longer rides. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, Chanya's really just not. She can ride a bike. She rides a bike every day. She rides a scooter every day. But there is a confidence level that that you do have to build up, and you have to ride pretty much every week at least to stay in the zone, if that makes any sense. Island boy, lane splitting makes riding much more convenient. It does. It's shitting yourself makes it much less convenient. Yeah, touche. But yeah, you soon learn to hold it in, Stephen. Don't worry. Yes, definitely. Riding is not for you. I would always say that if you've never ridden a bike in your life before, the last thing you want to be doing here is coming to Thailand and riding a motorcycle. It's just not a thing you can do. Well, you can do it, but you're likely to be one of the statistics on the road, because I don't know how many people we see from time to time that are just they come over here, and this is the thing that's going on now. They're talking about the fact that all foreigners must need a license to hire a bike, and I'm not even know where this information is coming from right now. As far as I know, you cannot ride on a Thailand road unless, of course, you've got a license, right? International license, right? or whatever, you must be licensed to ride a motorcycle. And I don't know where this whole media hype's coming from at the moment about forcing foreigners to have a license. It's always been the rule, you know. Yeah, okay, let's have a bit more of an awareness so that all motorcycle hire places can be fined heftily if they do not check the fact that the rider is, the driver is a licensed driver. Don't put it on the foreigner, put it on the people hiring the bikes, right? Again, it's just the fact that they're doing it because it's money. Thailand's are more concerned about Thailand, you know, people. Money drives their life. So what's happening is the fact that they would happily hire a motorcycle to anybody who asks because they want the dollars or the bahts. And then of course, if you're not licensed and you cause a problem, then then you're going to have to pay the damage, right? Their insurance is not going to cover you. So that's a win-win situation. I think we talked about that last live stream about the scams on the motorcycles as well. Make sure you go to reputable motorcycle hire places. But if you don't have a license, by all means, stay the fuck off the road. Don't be another one of these statistics. Stephen, I was thinking back, Island Boy, Mae Hong Song. I think I went there first, and then to Pai, but that was 30 years ago. Yeah. Stephen, like he's an old boy. You might have thought he went all this, young talk and everything else. No, he's. I reckon he's a year older. He says he's a year younger than me, but I think he's a year older. I think he lies. He's got grey hair. I've seen him on webcam now. His hair's greyer than mine, so he must be older. What's that? D-Tuck. Get free legendary gun skin too. What is it? Okay, it's must have been nice back in Bangkok there. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really talked much about it, have we, Stephen? The whole lifestyle in Bangkok 30 years. I know you found some videos and sent me some video links of what it looked like, and it really looked like it was the Dark Ages. And less tourists, that's right. In the city, riding crazier than on the high. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we saw the city riding, obviously west of the city, but that it is a Sunday. But now you can see that the traffic is starting to get a lot more sparse, a lot more room on the roads. We're actually now in the Nakhon Pathom province. There we go, McDonald's. It's a big city. Like it's not like it's we see a lot of the not to say it doesn't happen when you get out to the farming districts like where Pai and Outboard live, in the farming districts. But as you'll see from this ride, it's fairly well modernised in every sense of the word. You don't have to go too far between petrol stations. You don't have to go too far between shopping centres. You don't have to go too far between, pretty much to be able to get anything you really want. And it is not as though all the foreigners are the crazy riders. Yeah, no, that's right. I'm fairly sensible, but I've been riding for a few years. I can't quite often wonder because, like in Sydney, we have what they call the S-laning that they've done in Sydney, which helps filter the traffic, especially on the Pacific Highway going from North Sydney through to Hornsby. And I wonder if the S-laning would actually work over here. But quite often, I think that then Thais never look at the lane markings anyway. Would S-laning work? Well, this is Goy on the side, on the yellow helmet. This is Goy. This is the only female rider that goes with us. She loves her little, her what do you call it, Yamaha MT-09. Stephen Monash, I have had a hard life. Yes, yeah. You can always dye your hair, you know, Stephen. Like, you know, when you come out here, that's what you do. Come out to the salon and Chanya can dye your hair. But again, it's always this stark conscious. We're just gone through, you know, like shopping centres, and then you see all these places to the left and right where you get, you know, the little sort of places to eat, you know, like farms, you know, little farm plots and things like that. I just love the contrast when you're riding anywhere. And quite frankly, I don't even get to see this. These little statues on the left there. Chanya always loves to point them out when we're going anywhere. But I actually see more of Thailand going back and reviewing the video rather than when I'm actually driving. Usually when I'm driving, I've got, you know, eyes front, eyes in the mirrors, and I don't get to see what's around me. So the only time I get to actually see the scenery is in these videos myself. Bill Simpson, how you doing? We're taking a ride out to Sisawat, around the some windy river, you know, windy roads around the lake. Well, that'll be in about how long we've been going for. We're 40 minutes into the ride. The ride's 3 hours long, so it's 2 hours and 20 minutes away. Well, that's the end of the ride, so it's about maybe hour and a half away to get to the windy roads. Yeah, anyway, but stick with us. Yes, the MotoGP. That's another reason why I thought we'll go for a motorcycle ride. The motorcycle GP is on this weekend. You won't be seeing much live stream about that until tomorrow, I don't think. So let's go and do some riding around Thailand. Give you a bit of a feel for it. Well, I don't do the GP. It's a bit too far away for me. And it's still the rainy season. But I will plan to get up there probably one year. You just see more on the live stream. You see more of what's going on through the coverage rather than actually going there. Sorry, I can't read Arabic, but hello there. Will my translator translate that? Banda al Quaitani. Hi there, Banda. Nice of you to join us. So now we're actually coming up into the middle of Nakhon Pantom. Yeah, well, I live in Bangkok, but this is a ride out to Sisawat, out in Kanchanaburi. So we're now in Nakhon Pantom. We've started the ride in the city, and we're moving out west. Robert Groves, how you doing? I will be doing a ride down to your place very shortly, and we'll actually then I'll use that ride for it. If people like this sort of thing, I won't do it every live stream, but if people like this sort of thing as a backdrop to talk about riding and other sort of topics, we'll actually get to do a ride down to Robert Groves' place. That's a good 2-hour ride, and it's in a different direction as well. So I'll do what I did last time when I rode down there. We'll go down the scenic route down through the coast rather than on the main road. That was a really good ride, that one. I think I got the footage somewhere, but I can't be sure. I might have actually stopped. That's right. That was before I actually had the extra power to the camera. So the camera SIM card will store about 3 to 4 hours of video, and I needed to power the thing up to actually be able to record 3 to 4 hours. Otherwise the batteries ran flat. Well, the rain's starting to stop, starting to stop. We haven't had so much in the last few weeks, so I'm going to have to talk to Chanya and sort of see if she wants to come down as well. It'd be nice to go down with her. But again, she wants to do some house hunting. So it's all this juggle that we have to deal with. And I don't even know what we've got any public. I don't think we have some public holidays coming up. Let me have a look at my calendar. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see the month, day, week, month. Okay, so the 14th of October is the anniversary of the death of the King Bhumipol. So I don't know if that's a public holiday, but the 7th, so Monday the 7th is, well, no, that's Labor Day Australia, is it? Queen's Birthday Australia, okay, that's Australia holiday. Okay, looks like we do have a Thailand holiday coming up. We've got two coming up. Wednesday the 23rd is Chulalongkorn Day, which is a Buddhist holiday, but we're already a Wednesday anyway, so I don't know if she's going to need any days off beside. But we do have a long weekend coming up on the 13th and the 14th, so depends on whether she's going to take the days off. We might come down on that weekend. Anyway, missing what people are talking about. Yes, I have a lovely ladyboy girlfriend. Old Slow Jim, how you doing today? Let me just minimise that so that's out of there. Okay, all riders need to take responsibility for their actions. The ability to buy a scooter doesn't make you a scooter rider. Yes, exactly. Can't agree with you more. They fall in the car of, lucky I had to lay that. I'd be dead otherwise. Yeah, you didn't anticipate what the other. Yeah, that's part of what you're going to do. Like, as I said, I've been riding for since the age of 15. That's why I bought a low capacity motorcycle, just to really, for the first year of riding, get the feel of the idiots that you have to deal with. The 360 degree vision, the anticipation of what everything on the road is going to do. Look at the road conditions. Understand what the road conditions. Understand what the concrete feels like with the oil patches and things like that. Understand everything about the feel and the temperature. Even the temperature that you're riding in can if you've ridden in low temperature when you've been riding in America or in England, riding in the heat can dull your senses as well. And this is something you need to get that. You need to put hours under your belt. It's probably the best way to look. Just like learning to fly, you need to get 100 hours up on the clock before they'll let you take a passenger. And I think that's something that really needs to be done here as a good riding mandate. Limit every driver should be limited to 125 cc, right? You need to do some riding proficiency tests. But you also need to have some sort of, doing some, how many hours have you got riding experience before they'll give you a full license would be, a good way to, cut down these road tolls. But again, how do you police it? Special awareness. How do you build it in people? Again, Thais are riding motorcycles from the age of 10 or even younger. And again, that's something that I think they should be sort of completely removed from their societal makeup. Okay, in England you can ride at 15 years old, but you've got to go and apply for a license. It just seems like the fact that I've got to see half the people in our soy here. How old are they? Maybe it's just me, or I just don't understand what the age of a Thai is. But quite frankly, I reckon half the drivers I see in our soy would be barely 12 years old, and they're running around with pillion passengers or 2 to 3 people on the back. Okay, it beats walking everywhere, but quite frankly, it just shouldn't be allowed. Another one bites the dust. No, they look slippery. Most of that's just tyre. Yeah, again, I think oil's only slippery when it has moisture because the moisture lifts the oil out of the road. But I've really never encountered anything slippery. There is a slippery patch that we'll get to later on this ride when we're actually going through the windy part, where it actually has a lot of what they call leaf debris on the road. Now that stuff really can be slippery, even in the dry weather. But these roads here, no, I don't notice it, but I've got good tyres on as well. And most of the riders are running what they call sports slicks anyway. You've got to know where to ride. Margins, it's definitely not slippery on the margins here. Where the sumps on motor vehicles are, that centre section can get a bit slippery, but really only in the wet weather. When things are dry, you don't see it all. The worst time is just when it rains just after 4 weeks of dry weather. That's when it can be really dangerous. No, mine's 650cc, but 150cc is good to start off in. Mana, my biggest concern with roads in Thailand is the potholes. Well, we haven't had any really along this road. I know there's some really bad roads down in Pattaya and around those areas, but these main roads really aren't a problem. Okay, and you can predict it, you can see it fairly well ahead. If you're riding outside in the margins, that can be dangerous. But generally, I think, well, I can think of one point on this road where I did hit a bump. We were going through, we were actually going through, where was it? Where the death railway is. That is Kanchanaburi. That's the city, and they got the drainage holes. And the drainage holes were 3 inches lower than the roadway, right? And I just didn't even think about the fact that they would put that much tar above it. And I hit one of those. Oh my God, did that jar my back? But again, even out when we're doing the ride around the lake, there's a few what they call blind drops. You really couldn't see them, and you're doing 50, 60 kilometres an hour, and the road just seemed to just drop off by 3 or 4 inches, and you just hit really a hard bang. But yeah, can be quite jarring on the back. Anyway, we're just coming out. We're now moving out of Nakhon Pathom into more of getting a little bit more rural now. Robert Mack, good afternoon. Yeah, I think that's right. Some of the things I've seen on the potholes thing, that's something I have seen. When the rain does come, it of course it sits in everything low, and the uneven road surfaces, not so much potholes. You can find roads do drop off 3 or 4 inches, right? And then once the water fills that, you just never know what's there. So that's the one thing you've got to watch when you're riding in the rain, is you just never can predict the depth of what you're riding through, because quite frankly, you could be riding along and all of a sudden it goes bloody 12 inches deep, or as you might guess, it's hitting a pothole. Are you still looking at are they still looking at? Yeah, they are still looking at a big bike license. I don't know. I personally don't think that this is the right thing. This is an idea that Thais are presenting because there's some sort of ulterior motive. Everywhere in the West, right? What they have is they have an enforced license. They have policing of the road rules. And like in Australia, you have to have 3 years on a provisional license with a minimum. I think the maximum capacity is 250cc. Same in Europe. You've got to drive low capacity. You've got to prove your proficiency before you can even buy a big bike. But here in Thailand, this is what the thing, we've been having some big articles, big news articles, which are upsetting the higher echelon because their kids are dying. They're giving their kids $1 million to go and buy a Ducati 900 as their first bike. And what are the kids? They're 15 or 16 years old. Half of them don't even have a license, and they go and kill themselves, right? And so it's these high echelon. They're the people that drive law. So they're now sort of saying, let's bring a law in to have a special license for the riders. Well, how about you stop your kids riding the damn freaking fast bike to start with, right? A 15-year-old can't afford a bloody, $1 million baht Ducati. You're giving them the money, right, to buy their loyalty, buy their what? I don't know. It's just completely crazy. Yeah, and quite frankly, when you look at the numbers, 85% of the deaths are 150 cc's or less, right? Out of that total percentage of all bike riders, there's something like 40% of bike riders on the roads do not even have a bike license, right? So how about we enforce, first, road proficiency, you know how to fucking ride a bike to start with, right? Secondly, right, you can't own a big bike until you're at least 21 or 22 years old, right? That might be a good idea. That's where it starts. And thirdly, how about we just get the police to do their job and police? It's crazy. I've been riding here and driving here for 3 years. Not once have I seen a police vehicle put a siren on. Not once. And I've driven and ridden everywhere. You can see plenty of sirens when it comes to, like emergency services like ambulance, all right, and even tow trucks will put a siren and flashing lights on. I've yet to see a police officer with a flashing light in all the time I've been driving and riding here. They prefer to sit in their little booths or something. I don't know what it is, right? And it's crazy. Enforcement of the existing laws is all they need to do to fix the problem with the deaths on the road. Licensed drivers, minimum small capacity up to the age of 21, right? And then, make sure you have helmets and everything else. Just police the damn stuff would be the way to do it. But this is. Follow us on Patreon. So what are you doing there, Stephen? You're giving people a Patreon link to my page, are we? Redirect. There we go. Yeah. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah. By all means, if you feel like being one of the special guests, one of the special people, we always look after our patrons and do special meetups and things like that. If you're coming out here, we do have a private Discord, so you can ask very private questions. But primarily, if you're a friend on Facebook, if you're following us on Facebook, if you're following us on Twitter, if you're following us on everything else but YouTube, you're the real people, you're the real audience. We're always looking after you as best as we can. Out of the 21 countries I've visited in my life, Thailand is probably the only one where I'd refuse to drive even if it was offered a free car. Well, again, that's a personal preference, but I honestly don't have a problem with the roads here. Again, but I've ridden bikes since the age of 15. I've done what they call advanced driving courses in Australia. I've driven rally cars. In my younger days, I used to race cars. I've done all that sort of stuff. So I'm one of those sort of guys that I've had one car accident in the 38 years of driving, or 40 years of driving. I've only had the one accident. I've come off my bike 4 times in that time, but again, not dangerously. I've just basically, wet weather, slide outs and things like that to just unpredictable roads. But I've never had a bike accident. I've had one car accident. So again, it comes down to, some people are just smart, Again, how do you teach that stuff? Advanced driving courses. Joshua, how you doing? Mark Lowell, I'll stick to me. Click 40 kilometres an hour. You click. That's a motorcycle, isn't it? Click, yeah. Nothing wrong with a Honda Click yet. No, they're a good little bike if you're running around town, if you're not going anywhere. And it's good to sort of see, like, this is a area of congestion in Kanchanaburi that they've been trying to fix. There's a, what do you call it, a railway crossing up here, which has had a few accidents recently. So they are building an overpass for that. And they are continually sort of doing and improving roads all the time. I think they need to do more of this stuff in Australia, but again, it's cheaper to do it in Thailand than it is to do it in Australia. Manama just came across across my residence here in Pattaya. There are kids who can't possibly any older than 12. That's right. Yet he goes to school and back to school from a motorbike without a helmet. I know it's absolutely ludicrous, and the parents allow it. Seriously, and by introducing these bullshit big bike, laws, how is it going to fix that problem? That's the question. This is where the kids are dying, right? Most of the deaths are kids under the age of 21. I think that was another statistic. 80% of the deaths are under 21 years old, right? It's crazy. 26 people watching. So we've got some more, probably Australians. The game's finished, is it? Yep. So we get a bit of traffic out in Kanchanaburi as well, but we're going to turn. We're turning right here. They obviously know that the light changes green both ways, so it's all good. I don't see anybody joining. Stephen here's. Stephen? Which Stephen is that? Stephen Monash? Is that you, is it? Let me just quickly do that. He's new to Discord. I'm wondering if that's Stephen Monash. But he hasn't joined the actual voice chat, so that's another thing. He hasn't worked out where to click yet. But yes, okay. Yes, you need to policing the stuff first. But the first bike was a Taco mini bike at 7 years old. Look, again, I've had some very close personal friends lost their 11-year-old to a trail, one of those mini trail bikes. They are quite dangerous when it gets to trail riding. But again, if you make it through 7 years old, it's a lot of fun. Blues Inc., good afternoon. My guess is that you are more likely to fall when lane split. Well, in my case, it's the width of the handlebars. I'm more worried about hitting a driver's side mirror. Right, because again, you'd have to then stop and you'd have to give details, you'd have to pay for the damage because I've hit them, their side mirror. That's the only thing I worry about. I don't worry about falling off. Like if you can't ride at like walking pace on a motorcycle, right, without having to put your feet down, you should not be on a motorcycle. That should be one of the test rules, right? Go through a set of cones at a meter distance, right, at walking pace. Which means, have the instructor walk in front of you. If you hit the instructor as he's walking and you hit the cones, then you shouldn't be freaking allowed a freaking license. I know there's some of the sort of rules you need to do for some of the people that do driver's tests. But again, I don't see that sort of stuff happening over here. Well, Blues Inc., I think that's part of it. I think it is partly to do with, in my opinion, the Buddhist mentality with their karma and everything else. They've been a good person, so they don't worry about this life because they realise the fact that, well, I've done enough good deeds that my next one will be better, or something. It gets a little bit crazy when it comes to that. The whole idea. Well, making plans longer than a week seems to be like out of the question. Um, uh, what are we doing tomorrow? She hasn't made up her mind yet. I don't want to say bad things about Chanya, but that's what it gets like. Well, what are we going to do for Wednesday? This is Tuesday. It's your day off tomorrow. You got any plans for tomorrow? No, I don't have any plan. Well, we could be doing something, but she just preferred to sleep in on a Wednesday. It's her Sunday, but that's part of it, isn't it? Yeah, so Stephen's put if you're always welcome to join our Discord server and come in here and sort of chat with me. It's not a requirement, it's not enforced, but you're quite welcome to do it. Mana, not only is it impossible for him to be allowed to legally drive a bike around at the age of 12, but his parents don't mind him driving without help. I know, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? Yeah, and again, it's probably because he's a boy, right? And boys, that's the thing about the Thai culture. Boys are allowed to get away literally with murder. Look at the heir to the Red Bull empire. Effectively, he has got away with murder, right? And absolutely zero is being done about it. Okay, he might not be in Thailand, but why is there not an international warrant out for him? Why is there not an Interpol warrant out for him? Because money and his male Thai speaks higher volume than losing face for the heir to the Red Bull empire. You know what I mean? It's absolutely bullshit. Right? They've just got to get over that stuff. It really is impossible. Love the steel reinforcements on the pylons. I must have missed that. Steel reinforcement pylons. Usually everyone's into cheap thrills and neglects safety. I know, it's just something about the under 21. I'm going to use the under 21 age group as the line in the sand. They seem to start to get sensible over the age of 21. Maybe because of the fact that they've had to do the national service that they have here, the compulsory national service, and it gives them a better sense of fucking purpose. A sense of what really life's all about. Who knows? But as I said, all they want to do is then dip their wick, up to the age of 21. Well, I suppose they want to do that after it, but the young boys, that's all they think about is riding motorcycles, fucking every second woman they see, and drinking beer. That's their lifestyle. They don't think about work, they don't think about career, they don't think about anything. Right? That happens from about the age of 21 as they start to wake the fuck up, That this is Thailand, as they say. Do you think driving motorcycles is more dangerous than driving a car? Personally, no. Not here. I feel riding a motorcycle in Australia is way more dangerous than riding a motorcycle in Thailand. But again, that's because I'm an experienced rider. And in Australia, Thais aren't facetious, they're just neglectful. In Australia, drivers in Australia will fucking open the door on you. If you're lane splitting, they will open the door. Good afternoon, Ray, how you doing? Right, and they deliberately do it, and of course then you'd be in trouble. Although you're allowed to lane split in Australia now, right, a driver will open their door and it's your fault because you're hitting them. They're in front of you, you hit them, get the idea? Right, so you damage their door, you're going to have to pay for the damage there, you're going to come off your bike, you're probably going to go through his side window, and you're going to do yourself some pretty bad damage. But, this is what they do. I don't know how many times people have tried to open doors on me. When you're lane splitting, you just have to be freaking aware of it. You can see it happening. And you know the type of drivers that do it. Yeah, that's a Ray Gold. Aussie drivers are just arseholes. They're exactly right. They seem to think they own the fucking road. And I'm getting a little bit careless with my language here, aren't I? My guess would be way more. But no, it's not. Well, again, it comes to personal responsibility and how good you can ride. I just don't feel a problem with it. The only thing I have a problem with is riding in the wet, because the driver's a little bit more neglectful. They will, without hesitation, they will swerve into your lane because of a puddle of a road. They won't use it. They won't use an indicator, and if you're not looking far enough ahead to see where the water is lying on the road, right, then that swerving could be dangerous. But again, if you're looking 200 to 300 yards ahead of you when you ride, it's not going to be a problem. It's what they call predictive driving. You're driving offensively. You're driving. You're trying to stay ahead of the traffic. You're trying to negate all the idiots, like this guy on the right here. Right? Is he going to cut in front of you? Is the motorcycle going to cut in front of you? These are sort of things. You've got to look at everything on the road. Right, and you can look in here. I can see past it, but there's motorcycles parked here. Am I going to make it in before that car wants to cut me off? You're just driving in. This is our ride leader. He says, "Go on ahead, go on ahead." Oh my God! But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked there. Yeah, look, there's a lot of it. Yeah, riding a bike is dangerous because the people just don't know how to ride bikes. That's the problem. It's not that the bikes are more dangerous, and this is what is failed to be taken under consideration. Proper skills, proper bikes, proper safety equipment, proper testing procedures, proper enforcement of laws, and bikes would be less of a problem, right? But again, it's a risk. These are experienced riders. California drivers are not very nice either, I can imagine, Robert. Yeah. Ray got seen plenty of road rage around here, and teeth left behind. I can imagine. There's no way you could ride here like that and survive. Yeah. Stephen Bonash, in 2015, Thailand road traffic death toll was second highest in the world. Over 24,000 were killed in the road accidents. 66 deaths every day. Okay, well, once you got it up, if you know how to join Discord, just jump on and come in and say hello. We're open mic, so that was people who did join last time. If you're watching, you probably heard me talking on the video, but I realised I had myself push to talk, because I'm normally push to talk. It's a gaming thing, push to talk, so that as you're playing the game, you don't hear the feedback loop. But this is an open mic, so really, I've got to change positions. But again, when you start to think about the death tolls per se in Thailand, like I drive and I go in taxis, I'm quite out and about, more than most Thai people probably. I've had one motorcycle run up the back of a taxi, a taxi I was in. Okay, he skinned his knee, but he didn't die. I've seen one motorcycle fall over doing a U-turn across traffic, didn't die, but he was just being an arsehole anyway. The only time I've actually seen a death, and quite frankly I do not know whether it was a death, it was in 2006. It was actually on Silom Road when we still had the Office and Serve Corp. A motorcycle was impaled on a 4-inch water pipe sticking out the back of a truck. Right, now he was not dead when I saw him, right, but that was 2006. So in the 14 years I've been come to Thailand, I've yet to see a death on Thailand roads. I've seen a few car accidents that could have been potentially fateful, but I've not actually seen the accident per se. So again, these numbers it's very hard to really sort of put it into context. You're thinking 66 people dying every day on the roads. Where the fuck are they dying? I don't see them dying on the roads. I don't see accidents everywhere. They're just numbers. Blues Inc., good afternoon. Just make sure you don't get the feedback loop from the thing. So if you want to now, just use the audio from the Discord and just mute the motorcycle so we don't get a feedback loop. If that makes any sense. So what do we call you, Blues Inc? Do we call you, let me just upgrade your security here, make you a regular. We're going to call you Blues Inc, or we're going to sort of give you a real name? Yeah, look at that fucking bus. Buses. Is that not a red fucking light? And so, of course, we're just, we're shielded now. We can go through because, but, fuck me. This is what happens in Thailand. Are you eating something? If you're going to eat something, you have to share and share alike. What are you eating? Crisps. I don't have any munchies today. I haven't been to the shop for a week. I can hear you. Can you hear me, Blue? I think you still...
Yes, I can.
Oh, there we go. So we're going to call you Blue, or we're going to call you something else? We're going to call you Blue, I guess.
Oh, that's my nick in the internet.
That's cool. So where are you from, Blue?
Singapore.
Singapore! What's it like down there? Is it rainy?
It's apparently like damn hazy, and because of the Sumatran area, and then there's like a lot of haze, and I'm actually, my voice doesn't sound that good because it has a lot of infection and things like that in the lungs and the nose and all that.
Oh yeah, my mother's downstairs. She's had a chest infection for over the last 2 weeks. It's been a bit of a worry for her. I've also had something that's been niggling, but I've been upping my AZ vitamins just to offset any potentials.
Yeah, because apparently because they had this like a big company, like what do you call it, the multinational company or something like that, and then they collaborated everything, and then they needed the land for the plantation and their projects, and then they start burning off everything. And then people suffered and got infected and things like that, and they just simply can't be bothered. Anyway, basically it's just a very cooperated world, the way they operate.
Yeah, we've had bad pollution here over the last week here in Bangkok as well. I was planning to meet Tim when we went to when I went to the mobile phone expo, but he took a rain check on that because he says it was even out west here it was already bothering him. He didn't want to actually ride through it.
Yeah, but for a city guy like me, we don't have any like farms, and because it's just a small little island, and basically we are all like covered up in haze and all that, and it's very stuffy and it's congested and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the living condition right now over here is not that really like fresh air, and then in the city life and the things like that.
Right. So do you ride a bike too? Do you?
Yeah, I'm riding a Suzuki V-Strom.
V-Strom. What's the capacity on that one? That's a
650.
Oh, 650 is it? Okay. So it's the same capacity
that is one of
mine.
the coolest bike I ever rode after like riding for 15 years.
Yeah.
I just realized that this bike like V-Strom 650cc is like really suit my needs.
Yeah. And that's a V-twin as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a V-twin engine, and it's fast and it's powerful, and it takes all kind of things you can get them on, unbeaten road, pavement, things like that.
Yeah, well
mine is more of a road bike.
Yeah, mine's a cruiser. It is a twin, but it's not a V-twin. But it is.
Yeah, you can go to the Facebook page, and some of them they have actually clocked like thousands and thousands of mileage traveling from East Coast to the West Coast in the United States, and some of them even did the V-Strom in touring the Europe and things like that. It's
Yeah.
a pretty interesting website actually.
Yeah. With mine, my bike actually has the 650 Ninja motor in it. So it is actually a sports motor in a cruiser bike frame. So
Yeah.
it's a nice, comfortable bike to ride.
Yeah, but yours is like actually like more of a like a, I mean is you choose it because of the urban thing like in Bangkok
Well,
and
I chose it for the longer
not
wheel. The longer wheelbase makes the ride more comfortable. The low slung seat means that it's a comfortable position.
yeah
You are what they call a foot forward
yeah.
position. So it is.
But yours is a good choice though.
Yeah.
At least you got that rather than you go and really like purchase a Harley Davidson and things like that. It's
Well,
the prices are really overkill over there.
the prices are ridiculous. The
Yeah,
Kawasaki
yeah.
was I paid 285,000 for
Yeah, you know,
mine.
Warren, when I was in Australia, like we were having holiday and things like that, we were actually driving past the Great Ocean Road,
Hmm.
right? And there's these small little houses and with their Harley parked outside and they put there 3,888.
Yeah.
You know, with the cardboard and the mobile phone number and everything there.
Right.
Yeah, and then the guy is like selling it off through their home porch or home depot or something like that. Yeah, I'm totally fascinated with the price, you know. It's like 3,888 and then compared to like Singapore, it's like you buying a Harley is like you have to pay like $30,000 to $40,000.
Yep. Tell me about it. Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's like
most it's just our import duties, and of course, because we've got high import duties and things like that, it just even the
yeah,
second-hand prices just go up. It's
right.
just ridiculous.
But whatever it is, I look at the Australian transportation courses and methods. I think they are quite friendly, as in like if you need it and then it suits your needs. You know, you have to really shop around and look at the choices that you have made. You know, it suits your pocket.
And
Yeah.
Joe Ford's the saying he just woke up. Can I start the video again? No, we're in Kasanamburi now, so we're halfway through the ride, Joe. And no, sorry, there's no ashtrays on motorcycles. Anybody smoking on a motorcycle these speeds here, it's going to be a problem anyway. You're more than likely smoke. You probably more than likely swallow your cigarette at this speed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you don't have to smoke. Just come over here over in Singapore and just taste the haze, and that's good for you.
Well, I have a lot of long-term plans in my life, and I plan to do a lot of riding. But the thing I want to do first is I want to be able to get to the level of language skill as who was that guy that was doing ride videos here in Thailand? Um,
Uh-huh.
he was
You mean the
European.
guy is on a bicycle, the vegetarian guy? No?
Was a vegetarian? No.
Yeah.
What's his name? I'm just trying.
He's
Boulder.
actually, I think he's Australian. He's quite a cool guy actually. He runs a YouTube channel also.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Harold Boulder. He used to do a lot of ride videos, and he could speak really fluent Thai.
Uh-huh.
And when he had those videos out, I think he took them all down. But he would
Right.
ride around all of Thailand, and you could see him. You could get in and have it. He'd pull in at a service station. He'd actually have a conversation with the gas station attendant, and then he'd stop at a coffee shop, get off and coffee, and have a talk with those people. And you
Oh,
really got this whole
okay,
nomadic
okay.
a real
Yeah, yeah.
nomadic lifestyle.
I got you. I got you. It's something like the step down of the Harley Davidson boys kind of thing. Like we instead of visiting the pubs and the bars and all that,
Yeah,
but we just travel and then go to the coffee shop and
yeah.
yeah,
So
there are
I,
interesting topics or subject to discuss
yeah,
and talk about it over.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the sort of thing I want to get into. But again, I need to do more language. So hopefully over the next few weeks, me and Stephen are going to get more on the voice and talk a bit more.
Oh,
Um,
this you got to like mix around and go down to the local level, Warren.
it's not so much that. See, Stephen's had 5 years here, and
No,
and
local deal. That means
yeah,
you
but
got to like
the,
yeah, you got to like
there's a certain one.
integrate yourself into the local scene. You know.
Once you get there is a certain
Yeah.
level of confidence. One of the biggest things that holds us older people back with the language is a
Yeah.
personal confidence level. The fact that are we saying it right because we don't want to offend somebody by saying the wrong thing. Whereas
Right.
I could then practice talking with Stephen per se, right,
Uh huh.
who's also learning the language, and we could bounce
Right.
things together and probably
Right.
pick each other up on the things that we're saying wrong to help
Right.
build our confidence so that we can have better conversations with the local Thais. And I think that's where we need to go next. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's my point of view. But see, language. Stephen's an English teacher. He was an English teacher in Thailand, so he knows his
Right.
stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah. I saw his typing and his comments and all that. Yeah, he's pretty good at his English, command of English. Yeah. But anyway, like right now, as you are in Thailand, so yeah, you got to like I don't know how to put it. I mean, in Singapore we had this like the local deals. You know, you Aussies had the local deals too. You know, like there's this like like I don't know, they call it a clan or the some kind of a small society, or I don't know what you call it. There's a word for it. I should put it simple, like there's a clan, the motorbike clan, the local kind of join thing, In America, they call it join, right? So in Aussie, I don't know what they call it, but in Singapore, we had this like a small little group. Group. Yeah.
In Australia, if police see more than 3 motorcycles riding together, they think it's a gang and they'll pull you over. They're absolutely fucking bunch of assholes.
No. Actually, they're pretty cool. I was in Sydney last time and I watched the Angel. Is it the Hell Angel or something like that?
Yeah, but as I said, what they do, they don't pick on the big rides. They pick they'll pick on 2 or 3 riders riding together. It's because it's a numbers game. They can they're not going to take on a full gang of motorcycle riders. They'll die.
No, actually, yeah, exactly. Actually, there's the police and as well as we as citizens, they actually are playing with the words of law. Yeah, I was saying that in Singapore, like I had like, for example, like if you're in Singapore and I meet up with you and it's 2 of us, we're talking, right? And chatting and all that, having a great time, right? Let's say, for example, like Chanya or Stephen comes in and then we are like in the middle of nowhere and then we're just chatting and then having some drinks outside. Like it's not a place like for drinking and things like that. It's like a public place.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a public place, and then there are 3 of us or 4 of us, and then suddenly the police just pop on us and say that we are having illegal gathering because the law says that 3 and above is called you can charge as illegal assembly.
Yep. Police are just assholes. I know. It doesn't happen. We don't see it over here, which is good. We can ride together like this, and we don't have any problems. We get 0 interference by police. But again, the police don't do anything over here. I'm pretty sure that they sit in their little cubicles and drink coffee. That's just the way it is. Now, what's happened actually in this part of the ride? I missed a set of lights, and they've all ridden on ahead, and I've hit pretty much every traffic light since. Right. So it takes me like 15 minutes to catch up with them. They stop. Okay. They do a fuel stop a bit further ahead from here. But Joshua just tuned in. G'day, Joshua. Every time I try to speak Thai, I get laughed at. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Part of that's the confidence level I'm talking about. So that's why I want to get Stephen engaged more, and we'll do some more practice either speaking Thai, and then I'll feel a lot better about the actual language.
Yeah. It's like you got to be reborn again.
Yeah. Stephen says I get told he's speaking loud more often than Thai. Wouldn't surprise me. In life.
Because apparently my wife was from Ubon, and then I also did some practicing and so-called like trials and error kind of thing with her. But sometimes she says that my speaking of the tonal language is a bit like harsh and not pretty or something like that, not pleasant or something like that. So I don't know, because Singapore, we are all like English speaking kind of society over here. Yeah, so it's like we express ourselves by using certain vocabularies and adjectives and things like that. But Thai, they use tonal, so it's really, really hard for me to adapt to their things.
Put Thai Dai my club.
Yeah. So I'm like actually it's very tricky and things like that, and I also venture into like if you go to Laos, Cambodia and all that. I mean, language is a beautiful thing actually, but it also is a trap actually.
Well, Steve is saying you're speaking Singlish.
Yeah. I'm from Singapore, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Joe Ford, I think pronunciation of the alphabet seems all important in the language, although my Thai is, although my Thai is, I can get by, I can get around. I still don't know
that's good enough.
I still don't know the whole alphabet. Like, you know,
Oh yeah,
I,
that's really a hard thing to
well,
to get it off.
it's more that it's just the way they do it. Like, so I have to think back to kindergarten. A is for apple, B is for ball, C is for cat, D is for
Yeah,
dog.
exactly. Yeah,
How,
that's I was using the phrase "you got to reborn again." Did you
yeah,
get it?
yeah, but what do they do? It's sort of like Kokai and Kokai and
Yeah,
you know, like they have the way of pronouncing the language. And you know, they use the ko and
yeah,
kai, right? So where it's used, so the two words go together. And then of
yeah,
course they do similar with the vowels, and you're going, oh my god, that's just doing my head in. Why can't we just,
yeah.
you know? I still, to this day, do not really understand what the order is. Like, you know, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know,
Correct.
what's the
Right.
order of the language, the letters? You
Yeah,
know, it just makes no sense to me.
yeah.
Um,
It's really like there are like 30 or 40 signs, or alphabet there.
yeah, 44 letters, but only
Yeah,
really,
44.
I think it's only about 36 of them are actually ever used. The
Yeah,
other ones are based, they're old Thai, which have now been replaced in general vocabulary.
right,
And then, of course, they got sort of, 22 vowels. But again,
right,
like, you know, we have 5 vowels, which are pronounced 30 different ways anyway.
right.
Long and
Okay,
short and things
yeah,
like that.
right. And then this I'm from actually from the race of like a Chinese.
Right.
And yeah, and the Chinese language, the words, the characters, right?
Yeah.
There are actually like 30,000 of them, all different strokes and things and meanings and all that. So it's even worse.
Mm.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that it take many years to cultivate to have that kind of. I mean, yeah,
I know. Tell me about it.
yeah. It's not like instantaneously like you can straight away like get a few Thai words and then some simple conversation, and you can just start jump into their local deals and things like that. Yeah, I think it's not that simple unless you can manage to get hold of some local Thais where they are actually quite English well spoken, and they are willing to do the extra mile for the group or something like that.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, like
we're
where they
actually.
can help to clear up the mess and then try to educate us or whoever is interested, and then try to bring us back to the correct thing.
This is
Yeah,
actually we're
I mean
just coming up to the I think the War Memorial Cemetery, just a little bit further on from here,
uh-huh.
or have we just passed it? I'm not quite sure. This is
War-
right. This is right in Kanchanaburi City. Just for those who
oh,
are watching, for those who are watching, want to know whereabouts we are right now.
uh, you're riding all the way to Kanchanaburi.
We're
That
running a
is
Sesam Wrong, not Sesam, Sisawat, which is the lake up in Kanchanaburi. I think the second lake. It's a good ride.
oh,
It's a great motorcycle ride because it's a very windy road. The guys wanted to go and
right,
take their sports
right,
bikes out there, but we'll get up there. That's all right.
right.
We're halfway through the ride now.
Yeah, but one thing I don't like about Thai road is that there's a lot of gravel and things like that. Just do be careful when you do the cornering and things.
Yeah. Well, more to the
Yeah,
point, that road was more leaf litter was on the road. You'll see it when we get there.
yeah. There's got these small little tiny rocks or gravel. You get
Yeah,
what I mean?
can get
Those
that
are
too.
those are killer. Those are really killing us as bikers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't get too much of it over here. I think the water must wash it away. You don't get too much gravel on the roads, unless of course you're
right.
getting really right out into the farming areas.
Yeah, the country road and things like that, or the semi, like the outskirt. Once you hit the Bangkok outskirt, and then there starts the story. I mean, the gravel story we call it.
Bampei Kosh Samet, nice day from Rayong. There's a
Wow,
Rayong somebody from Rayong's tuned in on us. There we go.
wow.
Um, what's the next one? Stephen, I think is just marvellous. How does Warren live stream while riding? Yeah, how do I live stream while riding my bike? Yeah, it's pretty. I'm just good, mate. That's it, Stephen. I'm just that good. I'm also got 4 arms. 44 consonants, 26 vowels, is it? I thought it was 24, but yeah, 26 vowels. I'm learning. How are you? So like, we have to get Robert. You have to get onto the Discord and get the headphones, get your computer set up, and we can all practice with each other. You know, we'll have a little
Yeah.
foreigners Thai language thing to build our confidence up before we start really sort of taking it to the Thais. Teaching everybody all our bad habits.
Not really. There are some people who are really, when they were young, they were grilled into it. And now we are like in our 40s and 50s, and we have to force ourselves to grill into it. It's a different uptake, man.
Well, I said, you know, I've been reading a lot of stuff about language in particular recently, and the people say it's very hard to learn a language, you know, when you're older. But these articles are just saying that's a load of bullshit, right? There's a stubbornness that we adopt when we get older that prevents us from learning, but the mind is just as supple, right? They say the best technique if you're going to learn the language is to sit down for 15 minutes, do a 15-minute meditation before you go do your class, right? Just relax, get everything out of your book, you know, just forget everything that's happening, you know, do a meditation for 15 minutes, you know, find your zone, then do your language lessons, and you'll find you'll take it in so much easier. But that's most of the problem is the fact that we're stubborn. We're just too stubborn to change. You know, you've got 50 years under your belt. That's it. You've had enough of all this bullshit.
Yeah, I got to be really honest with you. I'm one of them.
Oh, you don't sound like you're 50. You sound like you're about 30.
Yeah, I'm in my early 40s.
Oh, early 40s. Okay.
Right.
But yeah,
like
so
really,
we do. We get stubborn.
Yeah,
Well, that's
kind of like when it comes to like the language and all that, and then my mind just literally just shut it off. You know, it's like.
Is it okay to six? What are you talking about, Stephen? I don't even know. I don't even know where you're going with that one. I could not be that silly with this. Right? Okay. I'm hearing that's best way to learn, Robert. Read and write first. Yeah, a lot of people talk about the reading and writing because you can learn if you can actually learn to read. You can pick up, you know, the kids' books. You know, the books that the children at the school will learn, like one line per page with pictures. That's how we learned to speak, wasn't it?
Can Stephen hear me on this?
Stephen will hear. Yeah, he can hear you. What's on the stream?
Okay.
Yeah.
Stephen, I can speak Malay also because Singapore and Malay is neighboring country. So actually, in Singapore, you have to like actually know how to speak like a little bit of everything.
Yes, you have to learn a few languages. You got Filipino probably as language you have to know. You've got Singapore, which is what's the primary language in Singapore? Is it English or Chinese?
English.
It is English, is it?
Yes.
What's the second language? Chinese.
Second language is Chinese, and then after that we have things like we go into dialect.
Dialect, you've got Malay, and then you've got probably a little bit of Thai, probably not too much Thai there, but Malay and Filipino you'd have, I would guess.
No, Filipino wasn't part of our Singapore heritage. It's only Malay, Chinese, Indian, and Eurasian.
Oh, Indian. Okay, right.
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd get a lot of Filipino there. Now here's these grates. See these grates here? That's what I was talking about. Some of them are fucking. I took a real jarring back there, going over those grates. Talk about potholes before. But that's one of the things you got to watch out for. Not so much for potholes; it's the bloody grates. You get them everywhere because everything's so low lying, and they build everything just above the water. Their water ducting system.
Actually, I did bump into one of the Thai website. You know, the local people insinuate the government there, and they took a bath in the pothole, and they took pictures and posted in the Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that, and then it was hilarious, and then it was funny, and then things like that. I laughed about it, and then it's like a month later or two, the government, the so-called the traffic minister or the road or something like that, in charge of the transportation, he quickly sent out the guys to repair the road straight away.
Yeah. So Clint Sheeran from Tasmania. I don't know how far away from Stephen Clark you are, but good afternoon to the people in Tasmania. That's the bottom end of Australia, of course, if you don't know what Tasmania is. Joe Ford, when I try to speak Thai to Thais in English, they just tell me I'm speaking English. I honestly worry about how my Thai must sound with an Australian accent half the time, you know. You know, the way Australians shorten everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Tasmania. I went there once.
I haven't been to Tasmania. I've been Sydney, Brisbane, Cairns, Melbourne, Adelaide.
Yeah.
But that's as far as I ever went.
But my favorite was Melbourne. Almost every year we were there.
Right. There's the railway going across the ridge over the River Kwai. That one.
I've been to Sydney once, but it was too commercial, I think.
Oh yeah, Sydney's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit like Singapore and like too commercial, like touristy and like I don't sense the local thing there and the authentic Australian thingy there and it's like too commercial and I don't know, it gives me the feel lah. I mean, all this is my personal opinion.
Yeah. So Robert Graves, okay, Robert, you got to get going. That's fair enough. You can't. I know you're not going to be. You know, you got things to do. You know, life goes on. Hope you enjoyed the ride so far. You can always tune back in where you missed out and watch the rest of the ride. It'll be on the live stream, of course. Well, we've got Russell Bryan. I think I still say that wrong. He's obviously joined us. The bottom end of Australia would be the current Prime Minister. Exactly. Tassie Paradise property is good price, rising, but yeah, I can imagine. Everything in Australia is just going up. But such is life. Right. Yeah, but...
is it because of the China sellout?
I would be able to... Would I be able to ride from here, Bangkok, all the way down to Singapore? Is there a bridge is there a land bridge?
Come on, man, Warren. Yeah. Take a flight, man. It's 2 hours.
No. If I'm going to do it, I'll take a ride down. You know?
I mean, it's too much hassle, Warren. It's like...
You think so?
You got to like... Yeah, it's got to like... You're really like taxing yourself out, you know.
No,
I'm talking about like...
I know. Going across into Cambodia, I've heard from certain riders it's a real drama with all the visa and you've got to ride with an escort and things like that. But I would have thought I thought Malay would have been different. You know, you should be able to cross the border there.
Because in Singapore we had this bike festival, right? And just check this out, guys. We bikers in Singapore, we had a large movement of bike every year. There are certain time of the month. But anyway, if you're interested, I need to check it out. And we are riding from Singapore, Malaysia, and then to Thailand, Phuket.
Oh, okay. So you're going from Singapore to Phuket.
So in Singapore we call it the 3 Nation Ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that there and back? Right. So I could meet you at Phuket at the halfway stage and then ride back with you. In other words, and then do a single ride back across the border by myself. That would be an option, I guess.
No, it's I had a friend. I mean, to be honest, I never tried it. I know it really sounds very taxing, but a friend of mine tried it, and he says that it really melts you down.
Oh, it can do. I know if you're not used to riding long distances. But I live in Australia. I used to live in Australia. Like to ride from Sydney to Melbourne, wouldn't have to ride to Sydney to Brisbane. That's longer. You don't even think about it. Just do it. You know, that's what riding's about. You know, it's not like riding on the road. You know, like. In the Northern Territory, they judge distance by how long it takes to drink a Darwin stubby. They don't talk about miles or kilometres. Oh, you know, Alice Springs, that's 3 stubbies away, mate.
Yeah, but I do love the Australia weather and riding. climate and all that. It really suits us as bikers.
Yeah.
But let's talk to reality, because apparently now we are in like Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. We are actually at the tropical belt, and it's like, oh, the heat, and then the dust, and then I don't know how to call it, the what do you call it,
You'll come to
the
you.
weather. Yeah.
The weather, yeah. Mark Lubbridge,
Yeah.
he's got to go as well. So thanks for tuning in, Mark. Good to have you here. Don, good afternoon. So one goes and one comes. It's like a changing the guard sort of thing. Good morning, William Poole. By the way, this is Blue's. Blue he's from Singapore. If you're just tuning in, he's joined the Discord. And again, if you want to join the Discord, it's quite welcome to join in as well. Blue. It's not that hard, is it? It's quite easy to set it up, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I'm quite surprised I can do it on my iPhone.
Yeah, you can do it on your iPhone. Oh, there you go. So he's on his iPhone, for instance. How's that?
I don't know, because maybe somebody want to try it on Android. I don't know.
Well, I've not had problem with the Android, but people see. Again, it's different levels of technology. People are so used to Facebook, click and it works. These things here, you got to half a dozen clicks and it works, or to get it going. But it's not that.
Recently, I've read about Android phone actually buck up a lot on their software and their technology and securities and all that. Is that true, Warren?
Well, I've just bought myself a new Realme. This is my new phone. That probably goes invisible there, does it? Yeah, it's the same colour as my backdrop. Yes, this is my Realme phone. 48 megapixel quad camera on the back. It's got a 715 octa-core processor. Cost me 11,000 baht. It's nice little unit.
Everything in Thailand, electronics are so expensive.
Yeah.
No choice.
Okay, Mark Lubbridge, hi XP, it's William Poole. How you doing, Stephen Monash? Hope you're well. Too many potholes in Cambodia for bikes. Yeah, but I've heard just getting across there, there's a real problem crossing the border. Something about you need to book it and you need to have a chaperone with you and all that sort of stuff, and it's quite murderous. Where else are we going? William Poole. I'm past caring these years. Pity I can't go backwards here. Well, actually, I've been reading a lot of science journals, William. They've actually been able to make with gene therapy and drugs. They've actually been able to make mice get younger. So the mice have a sort of a certain lifespan of 5 years, right?
Wow.
And they've actually made with these drugs that they're developing. They've made them
longevity.
They've made them reduce their age to the fact that they are actually able to reproduce because they can only have young for the first 3 years of their 5-year life. So once they get past they can completely reverse their genome or their telomeres in their thing, and their body does get younger, so that they could actually have mice again, like babies again. Of course, this drug will probably be only available for people who have got $1 million or more, and it's going to be one of those sort of drugs that the average person won't be able to get access to it. But that's such as the way of pharmaceuticals, isn't it? Money talks.
I don't know, because I don't know. My take is that I follow the precept of a Buddhist. We had the fourth known truth: we get old, we get sick, we born, and we die.
Yep.
So I have nothing to say about this. There are people who had a lot of money and wanted to take shortcuts. I mean, all the best of luck to them.
Yep.
And eventually, whatever it is you take, I mean, your race or religion or whatever your belief it is, I think one of these days you'll be like 6 feet below the ground.
Yep. Tell me about it. I know what you mean. Yep.
By paying like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, and extend yourself like another 5 years or 10 years more. I mean, come on, man. You know the maths. Like, it's buying an Intel Pentium chip like that.
Mm-hmm.
You use it, and then for over the years, and then it depreciate until it becomes like zero, and then the new model comes out, and then it's like, I don't know, it's like a never-ending kind of a deal.
I think you got to plan for the future, because you got to live your life.
Right.
Don't live your life into the whole idea that your next life is going to be better or something, if you know what I mean.
We have things like sickness, diseases,
Well, there you go. Life's journey is
yeah,
not to arrive at the
it's not a
graves.
smooth sailing kind of a
Yeah.
yeah.
Life's journey is not to arrive in the grave in a perfectly well preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, "Holy shit, what a ride!"
Right, right.
Let me get the video back up again before we lose that. We were only a set of traffic lights anyway. I finally catch up to the crew just a little bit ahead of us here.
Right.
Um,
Actually, I would be interested that you going to the Bangkok motorbike shows. Those videos you took.
Yeah,
I really, actually, very, very appreciate about it.
That's a triumph. There's like a small custody triumph ahead of me there. He's not in our
Yeah.
riding group. But again, I got the bigger bike, but he wants to go faster. This is typically Thai, Always got to be in front. Always got to be in front of somebody,
I mean, let's just slide this away and then just put it as part of their culture, all right? And
Yeah.
just be cool about it, right?
I don't let him. I just let him ride in front of me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But as I'm riding through here, I do overtake him, but then I stop because I see that all the bikes are on the side of the road.
Right.
They're pulled in for their fuel stop. There's that truck trying to run everybody off the road as well. Bloody idiot.
Oh. Yeah, it's.
But we are. This is now out the other side of Kanchanaburi, where we're heading more into what was the next stop? Where were we going to? Yeah, heading up to the Irwin National Park now. And this is the service station. This is where they are. I just caught them on the caught on my eye. Yeah, there you go. Slow down, stop. There was a pothole there. Looks like they're widening the road here as well, which is nice.
What? Gravel road?
Well,
Seriously?
that was just a dirt road. They're just doing road work. So there's the crew filling up.
Oh.
And we've filled up, and now we're on of course that takes 20 30 minutes, so
Right.
now we're back on the road again. On the road again. Check that I'm actually I've got it being locked up.
But you forgot your house key.
Well, house keys in the ignition, so that's all right. Yep, a lot of head turning there. That's Goy. She's a lovely girl. She really is. Loves her bikes. She has three she has three motorcycles.
Seven or eight of you guys there.
I think we had 13 on the ride. 12 or 13, I think was all up. But Goy, she has three motorcycles. She's got a 125. She's got a 500, and this is her 850. A lot of guys, big bike riders have probably two bikes. I suppose technically I have two bikes. I've got the Fino I bought mother. That's my bike, and I paid for it. I've got Chanya's bike, and I paid for that.
Yeah.
And I got my bike.
That's really a piece of art, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been talking with Tim lately, and we're going to try. He's just got to square it away with his wife that he's allowed to go riding, and he's got a license.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what's Patti Hero. What's he do? Is he breaking one of the rules? Is it there, Stephen? I wasn't watching what he was typing there. But yeah, now we're getting really out of this. It gets a bit more windy out here. Looks like they're widening the road. Because this is also where we start to see drivers are a lot more careless because of a single lane, and they want to overtake and they don't give a fuck about bikes. Something you got to head on collisions. This is I think quite common out in the sticks.
I mean, in the outskirts, there's only like 2 lane, one goes and one comes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to practice a bit of road courtesy.
Just you just got to look ahead of you. Know that the crest of a hill. You don't ride fast with a crest. You don't know what's on the other side. Use a bit of common sense.
Right.
I think this is something that people just don't have these days.
Oh, The blind spot, you mean?
Yeah, blind spots.
Yeah.
It might not look fast, but we are putting a bit of a pace on here. You'll probably see the speedo flash up there on the screen every so often. And there's a driver doesn't want to let me pass. He wants to go past him as well.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Always, but it's a good ride. This is not a bad ride at all. Looks like a double lane road across the bridge there as well. But there's a lot of overtaking here. Now I would normally not overtake on a bend like that, but the guy pulled over a bit, so I didn't actually have to cross the double lines.
Yeah, because something got to it's good to wear. I mean, to invest on those Bluetooth headsets, for the bike.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, Williams was saying. Yeah, we do find that's what I was saying before. Is in Thailand, pretty much 80% of drivers who actually do get a car, they've started on a motorcycle, so they already have it, like a motorcycle awareness, as opposed to people in Australia who just don't give a fuck at all. But again, if
in Australia, they spend money on buying the police, what call it, the
radar,
the speed trap thing, right?
No,
the radar thing. Yeah.
Not these days. They've actually got anti-radar, because if you know how radar works, you actually have to put out a signal, right, to receive a signal. Like to receive, you have to send. Does that make sense? So they've actually got
transmission and receiving.
Yeah, but although you think you're getting a radar detector, it is actually a radar transmitter. It has to emit the same frequency as the radar that's being tested, right? And they have a device that can measure that, right? And it's actually illegal in Australia to have a radar detector. I think the last time I had a radar detector would have been about 1985. That was when that's when that laws started coming in, and pretty much by I think about 87 or 88, people just were getting pulled over left, right, and centre. They'd scour your car, they'd run this wand over your car looking for the radar detector, and people got taken to court for it, because it was a law.
Right. But how bad is the punishment? I mean, the law thingy, how it goes? Do you have to get imprisonment or fine or?
Speeding, I think over 45 kilometres an hour in Australia, it's an instant 6 months ban.
Wow, that's a pretty long time.
Yeah, well, it could be 3 months. I'm not quite sure what the law is now. Over here, it's just everything's a fine. They're talking about bringing in jail terms on top of the fines, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's just too much public backlash. And of course, the prisoners over here are already overcrowded already.
Yeah. Because it's their home. I mean, you're talking about their home problems. Their country problems, where they can't really manage. And then plus, there's a high influx of foreigners or whoever, visitors or tourists or whatsoever, that comes in and create more things for them to work on.
Yeah, it's exactly.
It's like snowballing effect. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I didn't see what Patanya Hira was on about there. That last comment didn't seem to be too bad, but was he causing some dramas? I'm not following the conversation too well. William Poole, I think I think we covered that one. This is why bike riders go out this way, because it's a nice ride. So I'm doing 135 kilometres an hour here, and it's quite smooth. Okay, the speed limit in the rural area, I think there is a blanket speed limit across Thailand. It's 90 kilometres an hour, but nobody drives at 90 kilometres an hour anywhere.
It's a bit
As you can see,
I don't know. The video footage always looks a bit slow to me.
yeah, well, we are in a wide-angle lens as well, so
Right.
that does tend to make it, seem a bit more relative. And don't forget, from a riding position, this is helmet height, as opposed to a car cam, which is probably a bit lower in the window. But I think the wide angle just tends to give you more, relative speed. It doesn't look as
I
fast
think it's like
as what
more
you're going.
coverage straight in for speed.
And of course you haven't got the wind in your face as well, so you don't feel the wind buffering, which is what you're here
The
seeing.
drag,
Yeah,
wind drag.
what we're getting is it's a few bumps in the road, but mostly it doesn't look like it's windy, but at 130 kilometres an hour you do get a lot of wind buffering.
Right.
Here's me trying to get past this truck. Here we go.
Are the trucks they're really going that fast at like 130? No, right?
Well, they were doing 135 again now. 139, 140, 145, so 150, 153.
Wow.
And that's me doing 150, so he'd be doing 160. To overtake like that. So, Ralph Horace, how you doing? We're taking a ride out to Sisawat to do some really windy road riding. We're actually now in the rural area, so we've got a few turns and twists and a bit of road traffic here, but it's a lot of fun. William Poole, they found in the UK that when bikes and cars drive with lights on the day, you cut that. Well, yeah, you cannot turn the headlights off on my bike.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Mine too.
Yeah, I think pretty much all bikes these days, probably up 7 or 8 years old, lights are always on. Daytime and
It's a
nighttime.
new legislation for
Is it? I didn't know it was legislated, but yeah.
yeah, it is. It's a new thing, and then like this is like a traffic body of governments from all over the country, and then they came up with something very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are a little bit more visible now, yes, and of course my jacket. If you see me in the mirror, you'll notice mine's a fairly high vis jacket as well, as opposed to the guys wearing black. I don't know why they wear black, but at least the high vis. I get a lot more shine at night time as well.
But usually we bikers, I don't think you will ride in the night because it's really dangerous.
Well, I have got an hour night ride footage but unfortunately I might do that on a Monday night for a night ride footage. Just give you an idea riding through the city in the night.
There's lights. I mean, I'm talking about the.
Oh yeah, country. Yeah, country is a bit difficult. If I was going to be doing a lot of country riding, my mate Bob's got a Vulcan, and he had a new light system fitted, which is all LED. And it's amazing how much light that throws out. It is really quite impressive.
My bike, I was thinking of fixing on it also. It's like they call it the fog light kind of thing. The V-Strom, they have it.
Oh yeah, well I'm still thinking of putting what they call roll bars on the bike. It's something I've got it bookmarked in AliExpress. But
if you hook up a hook bar on your bike, means you got a chance of fixing those lights on your bike also.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But there's one thing to be careful is that maybe it might takes quite some power, right? I don't know. I haven't go and do the calculations. Like your alternator, your battery, and then followed by your LED lights, and then plus those high power ones.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, Stevens is saying Patania Hero. I'm guessing, does the guy actually have a channel? Does he have a channel? Is that why he's trying to troll? He wants...
Really?
Okay, he does. Okay, so look, Patania Hero, if you're still tuned in, hit me up on the YouTube, on the Facebook group I run. Say hello, right? And let's get to know each other. Like, I don't want to diss you, and Steve is just doing the whole, keeping things relative. I don't want to sort of... I'll hide you when I finish the stream, and I'll give you a plug when we're finished. right? He does have a channel. He's got 9 subscribers. He does bike rides, it looks like it, and he does bike rides, I'm guessing, in Patanya. Is that in Thailand? Is Patanya Thailand? I don't know. Is Patanya? Let me go to the Google Maps. No, it's Pattaya. Not sort of P-A-T-T. A-Y-N. A-N. Okay. No, I'm not getting it. Oh, there we go. Pattaya Salutes. That's Pattaya. I'm getting that as a location.
Or maybe he's living in a cave.
Well, no, there's something down. I don't know whether it's Pattaya, but there's actually a location. Patanya Sumalakin Kulio. I don't even know what it is, but that's what I get when I Google search it on maps. So, but it does look. He might be a Thai vlogger, for all I know, and definitely give him a shout out in my next channel roll up. But you don't need to troll. Don't use capitals. I'll fix it up when we fix the stream up. But
you mean you guys?
He's got to hit this. He's got to hit me up on the Facebook group. Say hello. If it's a Thailand video, post your Thailand videos in the Thailand Facebook group, and it's all good. I don't want to. I'm everybody's friend.
Yeah, Warren, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's like how do you tell or know that that guy, or for example like me, is a troll or passive troll or whatsoever?
Well, I wasn't watching. I was watching. I've been talking to you and watching the motorcycle, giving some commentary as we go along. Wasn't watching what he was saying, so I haven't gone back and unhidden what he was saying. But as Stevenson says, he was just being annoying. What they call passive trolling.
Right.
Kept repeating the same content. He was waiting for me to make acknowledging him coming in. Right, and probably because in fact he wanted a bit of a shout out for his YouTube channel, So there we go. He's got a YouTube channel. That's all good.
But I thought everybody can join in your chat channel.
Yeah, so you just got to come on, say hello. But the trouble is that this is a thing that we quite often. It is a little challenging to plug into the Discord, right?
Yeah.
The how-tos on my channel. I did a workshop on it, right? It's very easy to join. Right, you're quite easy to come in. If you start being rude on here, expletives every 5 seconds, right, we're going to have to do something about it, and I'll just mute you. But there's a swear word or two that goes through my mouth as well. But I don't have any problems with people. Now I have a problem with the people that come on and to say, when are you going to marry your boyfriend? They get an instant ban.
Insinuating questions, right?
Well, like Chanya's a ladyboy. They don't even read the description box. They don't read anything. I'm quite, I'm not hiding the fact that she's a ladyboy. I quite obviously, for everybody's purpose and well-being, she's had the operation, right? She doesn't have a dick anymore. Come on, right?
Okay. Just aside from your question and queries, I have a question to bring equalism to you. It's like, what if it's a woman who is a whore who sells her thing to everybody, and she's 100% female?
Well, that's a prostitute. Yeah, it's okay. This is the thing. See, the people are just so narrow-minded. That they think that there's maybe because their Bible that they read sort of said that man should not sleep with man or something like that. Some sort of, I don't know what it is. They're just so narrow-minded. My relationship has got nothing to do with you, right? If you have a problem with it, try another channel, right? Yeah. Because quite frankly, I'm not going to change who I am to suit your paradigm of life, which is so narrow-minded. It's not worth my wasting my breath on it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But those are the sort of people that get banned on my channel. Those assholes, they get banned. And of course, we haven't had one today, but we've also got. We believe that there are other YouTubers or other Thailand YouTubers that'll get on, they'll make a fake account with an email address, because you can get email addresses anywhere. Then they'll go to YouTube, and then they'll come on and they'll impersonate, what they call the impersonators. Again, but what they don't realise, they're actually good for the channel, right? They don't get a voice, but like subscriber numbers go up because they make another channel or they make another account. Then they subscribe to the channel to troll you, right? So you get another subscriber, right? They'll look at your channel, right? You'll get a view out of their thing, and then they can't say anything. So then they go into their troll account. So that's a second view. Then that one gets muted. Then they go to the third again. That's another view. And that's another view. And so they're actually like what we call in the game, they're useful idiots. If that makes any sense.
Warren, actually, there's a niche of the market, Warren.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to explaining your point of view. With likewise, my view is that I was putting as in the sort of a frame of mind that somebody or somehow had a company or some sort of organization, they get them paid and do all this stupid job.
Yep.
Yeah, and same way it goes for the advertisement and the those commercials and all that, Like, for example, if you want your YouTube channel to go really, really high rating and tweak the algorithms and the viewings and all that, somehow you got to get the people from the ground, I don't know from where, but they have this, like, the resources of people that really they have nothing to do, or they have, is some sort of their part of their job or something like that. And then they just create an account and then just like your channel. Yeah. And that's one. And then after that, I create another 10 more and then like your channel. You get what I mean?
Yeah, there's a few services out there that'll do that. Now, these people don't have a life, but I think again there's certain videos you can actually buy these services now. I was talking to Stephen about the other day. There's a half a dozen places out there. There's probably more. There's probably hundreds of services out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they come out of India. Primarily, that's where they come from, because the internet's fairly cheap, and they can set up 50 mobile phones, and then they can bot them, right? And then they send a command to the phone to go and open that particular video to make views, and they make diddly squat, right?
Right.
I think that I have research. I think $3. About $3 US for 1,000 views, right?
Right.
Why would you spend $3 for 1,000 views? No,
Yeah.
I only get $1.50. I only get $1.50 from YouTube for 1,000 views.
Warren. Okay, Warren. I tell you what, my deal simple. I'll spend more than $5 and buy you a drink. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we are
super there. I got the super chat. Anybody can hit the super chat down the bottom there, and Stephen owes me $10 for the live stream, private live stream he got 2 days ago. That cost me $10 worth of data charges.
All right.
He can buy me a beer when he gets out here. Anyway, let's catch up. 49 years ago today, we lost legend Joplin. Oh, Jonas Joplin. Okay. I'm just going to go on. Go on. I want to go back and just look at the chat. I've been missing the chat here for a minute. Strictly Stephen. So Jonas Joplin's
going over on the 13th of.
Yep.
October, yeah.
Oh, you're coming 13, here?
14, yeah. Just for a short trip. Before that, I will go to Ubon Ratchathani.
But you're coming to Bangkok?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get together and we'll have a beer.
Yeah, sure. But I can't drink beer, Warren. I had gout.
We'll talk about gout, because I think gout is pretty much... So you've actually had the blood test and you've got excessive uric acid in your stomach, in your bloodstream. Is that right?
Right.
You have had the blood test to say that it's an excess of uric acid.
Yes.
Okay, so it is gout. All you need to do is you need to up your water intake. You need to dilute it. That's all you need to do, and gout will go away. Right?
Yeah.
It's not alcohol does diddly squat. Right? Alcohol has got zero impact on it. It's the fact you're not drinking enough fluids.
Yeah, but I think I don't know how or what happens is like maybe my body like start to produce a lot of protein and things like that.
Yeah,
so got a lot.
It is a dietary. It's very highly dietary in fact.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ralph Horace, what helmet do I have? What I recommend? I'm using a Bill Mola. It's one of the better Thailand made brands.
Not showy, RI.
No, not showy. Sorry, you can get showy, but I've found a lot of fake showies on the markets as well. You just don't know what you're buying.
Yeah, exactly. I was just coming about to that.
Yeah, so you got to watch out what you're buying.
Because when you go to Thailand, right, when you look at the imported goods or stuff, the price is so ridiculously high, and you start to look for like lower down your choices of purchase. Then they came out with like, I mean the shop there, they had something like the make do kind of thing, like the in between of don't know the original or the not the original one. So it's like, yeah, it's like if two ways of mindset, you know. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, mine is a genuine. I don't know. It's not easy to get to from where I am because I got my head. Just be back in a second.
Right.
Okay, so I'm back. So that's my helmet. I'd have to go big screen for that. Just hold on. Yes, that's the helmet there. It's a Bill Mola, and that's the rig for the front camera I've got on it. It's map of Thailand there. There you go. It's got a lot of it's got a mirrored surface, so it keeps the head cool. And there's my new gloves I've got, my high vis gloves, and these high vis gloves it's got a little finger pad here, so that it works better with the touch screen on your phone.
Yeah.
That can be really a pain in the ass because you can lose your tracking. If something pops up on screen, it can sometimes minimise your map view, and you got to get it back on screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to that. Get myself comfortable again. Yeah, so we're getting up to we're going past Irwin Dam now. I think we're probably a bit further than Irwin Dam. I can't remember. I think we've already passed some water. Couldn't quite make out what that was. Well, we are seeing the roads are getting a little bit more windy. We're going to the mountains and everything else. It's I thought this is about as windy as it gets, but when we actually do the ride around the actual lake, it gets very, very windy.
Right.
Ralph, yeah. So yeah, like I've had a few Australians come up and sort of say rather distasteful things about ladyboys, and then I've seen their wife, and you got to say, oh my God, who got beaten with an ugly stick, and they want to they want to complain about my girl, right? And they're married to a bush pig,
What is this? Some kind of a comparison?
I don't know. They said that. Where do these guys get off? They even started saying it. You're married to a bush pig, you dick, right? Don't pick on my girl. Of course, they don't have channels, of course.
I mean, can't we just communicate in the more like civilized manner rather than
trying to it's beyond Australians.
Segregating people.
They can't do it.
And
they can't do it, unfortunately.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't hurt to be nice to each other, right?
That helmet, Ralph. That was 3,500. What? Yeah, 3,500 baht I paid for that one. Yeah, so that was a good. 3,500 baht. That's 1,000 baht, 120. So $150 US Australian.
Yeah.
And it was a trouble is I got a big head. I know everybody says I got a big head, but I've got a big head. I have an XL head, and trying to find one in Thailand with the XL sizing is quite difficult. So you
got to get those leftovers.
Yeah, it's not only that. It's the comfort, the padding, everything's got to be just right, and of course the design as well. So I searched around for probably 3 or 4 weeks before I found something. Look at this dickhead here, just cutting across the road. No idea.
Even when I was in Thailand trying to buy a shirt or something like that, I got to get myself like double XL.
William Pearl have a way with words. Well, I said, you meet me in real life, you're going to get the same guys you're going to get on the live stream or on the videos. I I learned early on in this piece, I don't have to fake being a YouTube celebrity or anything else like that. Just be yourself, then you don't have to lie to people. You know, it's always going to be the same person, no matter what you're doing. We've got a bit of a hill climb up coming ahead. We've got a truck ahead of us.
Yeah.
At least this is the courtesy of some cars. Here they go left. They let the bikes go through. It's just like you won't get that in Australia. Well, of course, that truck obviously had to negotiate the corner, but.
Well, actually, if you go into YouTube, there are even trucks bullying cars in Thailand also. Yeah. All you gotta do is just search for it, and then there are people like taking the whole video, the whole incident of it.
Yeah, we got a couple of cars decided to overtake on the wrong side of the road when we're going up the top of this mountain here, and a couple of extra hairy moments, and of course that's why I think I get past all these scooters. These are just scooters. I think my crew has already got ahead because they got the bigger bikes. I'm just trying. I could take them faster, but I'm not trying to scare the guys. They're bike riders, you know. You're just trying to be courteous and pass them at a reasonable pace, you know. Am I near a coastline? No, Joe. This is actually in. This is out in Katanumbudias, up in the mountains, out west, going towards Myanmar. It's a big lake. Watched your condo video, Ralph Harris. With 5 million baht, would you consider building a house? Well, that's one of the things we have been talking about. Is Mother's got land up in Sukhothai, and I could build that house in Sukhothai for about 1 million baht, just in labour and parts, because that's the difference in the value. But the problem is, it's Sukhothai. Then Chanya's away from everything. I've got Chanya and Mother, and I basically will be looking after Mother. Here's this idiot here, like fucking pull over.
My.
Yeah. So I'd be looking after Chanya, and I'd be looking after Mother as well. On my retirement pension, on my retirement savings. And at least when we're in Bangkok, they pay their own way. They're paying for their own things. But if I move to Sukhothai, it actually costs me more in the long run. So that's somebody's got a terrible nose cold. Okay, Don, catch you later, buddy.
It's like 12,
not we can just hold the hands and hold the yellow line. Just look. Anyway, so I noticed in Thailand the road surface doesn't melt in the heat. Well, it does, but you don't get it as much. I do find that the road surfaces could be a lot better, but I don't think we really get. Unlike Australia, where we get those days where it gets to 47, 48, and it'll melt the rubber on your tyres. Another idiot. Yeah. It'll melt the rubber on your tyres. It really only ever gets to about 42 here in Thailand. So the roads, absorb a bit of heat, but they don't get to that real melting stage. I think the worst.
Maybe they have special compound materials to build the road.
Yeah, I think they have a compound that's better suited to the constant heat.
Yeah, the constant heat from Thailand.
But again, it means the fact that there's probably less tar in it.
No. But you have to be careful. But when it's raining in Thailand, especially in Thailand road, right, you must be very, very, very be careful when you drive or ride, because the what do you call it? You call it the hydroplaning, right? Yeah,
it does hydroplane.
Yeah, and the tires, right? It seems like it doesn't grip. Like it doesn't matter how much you buy the tires. It's like it seems somehow that it doesn't grip on the road.
It doesn't grip as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the plus, the disadvantage and the advantage of Thai road. Thai road, that means it's when it's heating in the sun, the road is still in the what do you call it, in a very good condition for driving and things like that. Daily commuting. But once it started to rain, that's it. Your grip and everything will be like.
Well, that's for about for the first rains of the season, yes. But after you get a bit of water and gets all the rubbish off the roads, it doesn't get so bad. because there's so much oil on the roads. One of the things I've been reading recently is there's something coming out of Sweden. It's called plastic roads. Now Sweden, well Sweden have done some really interesting things with plastics.
R&D.
Yeah, and they've got a new road surface that's made out of plastic blocks. It's almost like Lego blocks. It's got a higher grip than tar. It lasts 10 times longer than an asphalt surface, and it's made by recycled plastics.
But the problem is in Sweden it's all year round cold.
Yeah, but instead of saying that, the roads themselves have actually got built-in drainage. Right, they make them it's a block, so it's got a top surface and it's got a drainage system underneath the surface, and the whole block is about 12 inches thick. And it's cheaper. That's what they're sort of saying. Using recycled plastics, it's cheaper per meter than it is to build a normal road. Right. We've got all this plastic problem in the world. Why aren't we switching?
Because you have to understand this, Warren, because in this world we have these businessmen and business mongrels.
Yeah, incumbents.
They invented a product and says it's good, and everybody dies for it. Yeah. And then another guy who did some serious R&D and came out another version of it, and they says it's also very good for it. So it's a never-ending kind of a. What do you call it?
Never-ending story. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never ending. It's all the one is, please give me your money, that kind of thing.
Well, it's again, as you know, why we got so much oil magnates. The fact that there are better ways to produce the power we need, but unfortunately, it's all the incumbents. Like to stop the oil industry, right? You'll have half the world to become unemployed. No government can support the unemployment if you put a ban on oil, right?
Like right now in Singapore, everybody, most of the middle-aged people or like the younger ones or they are not riding bike or taking car. They are riding PMD. That means those kick scooter that runs on battery.
Oh, yeah. But once they get to a price, they're actually quite affordable. They're now they're a commercially level product.
And then all you got to do is just bring back home and charge it, and then you can ride through and fro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's emission free.
What are we?
Emission free, no pollution, nothing. All you got to do is just pay for the tires and the battery.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I think we're just coming up to the real windy bit now. Last 40 minutes of the ride. Yeah, I think this is just coming ahead now, is it? I've been almost been 9 months since I did this ride, but it's all about money. That's it. It's all about money and who's making it. And if you're making money, you don't want to stop making money.
No, what I'm trying to put in across the forum here is, like try to a bit of like, I wouldn't say stereotyping, but just be open in your thinking that. We have people high up there, which is all day, in, out, night and day, thinking about how to make more money.
Yep.
Or rather than we have people here like thinking of day in and day out life. You get what I mean? These are the two crossroads that people frequently like get misled up to nowhere.
I was reading an article this morning. Like Scotland now has enough wind power generated electricity that can service 2 Scotlands.
See?
They
don't even have to depend on nuclear.
Well, that's what I mean. But unfortunately, they're shipping the power off to England. But that's another thing altogether.
Right. That's another one of those. Yeah.
It'll be a slow revolution, but we'll finally get there. It's just that in some people's reality, it's just not taking fast enough. In other people's reality, it's I'm sorry, it's hitting my bottom line, and unfortunately, it's the people where it's hitting the bottom line, they're the people who control the governments. There, there's a car coming. We're going to do that one. That was too close. Get over, move over. Go on, I can't even see around the bloody thing.
Yeah, but mostly these politicians just trying to bring revenues. Yeah, bringing big money into the country. That's all. And after that, when
Yeah,
people
look at this fucking
realize
bus
that,
pulling out. Pulling out in front of that truck. That's just typical Thai. But yeah, like you can see it happening. That's the thing. I could see that happening. 100 yards away. It's not like it was just happening just in front of you. But so how many people drive along? Seriously, that they should be wearing glasses. They can't see 20 feet in front of them. I don't want to speak ill of my girlfriend, but my
no,
girlfriend,
they have this
Chanya
habit of
can't,
like,
Chanya
no,
can't read.
they have this habit of putting brakes in the last hour. They have this habit. I don't
Chanya
know
can't
why.
see clearly the road 50 feet in front of her. It's blurry. She can't see signs 50 feet up, but she doesn't have to wear glasses. It's a fashion thing.
All right.
And that's typical Thai. The Thai license test. It's a colour test. It's not a you can wear glasses to actually see the colours, but it doesn't go anywhere in the license that you must be wearing glasses to drive.
Yeah, I
It's
saw their
bizarre.
test. It's like they test for colorblind.
Yeah.
Those tests are for colorblind
But
people.
what does that do? Right, so that's going to mean that there's 10% of men in Thailand can't get a license if they can't pick their. It doesn't stop any problem.
No, because I had a friend also saying he can't differentiate between green and red.
They shouldn't be on the road if they can't work a fucking stop sign out. But unfortunately, that dot chart, right, they're the two colours in red and green that I have a deficiency in. I'm also what they call mid-due-term deficient, which means I'm red-green colourblind.
Oh.
But
So
where do those red and greens come into driving? They don't come anywhere near the driving thing. I'm what they call mid-due turn. I can see traffic lights plain as day. But those two, that red and green colour, I can't distinguish from 12 feet away. It just to me, that just looks grey.
Oh.
Right? But as soon as the other test is the one that they put your head in, the little thing, it's just like a thing that frames your head, and they got little lights, and they actually have red, yellow, and green lights.
Right.
Past that one, no problem. Why they had that little dot chart is beyond me, because those colours mean absolutely nothing to driving.
But those colours are always in sequence, right?
The dot chart, they point to them, and you've got to pick them out from them. They point to them.
Oh.
So that's the thing. When I passed the first time, I was in a group of people, and I was watching people sort of. I was the 20th in the line, and I said, "Where are they pointing?" Oh, he's pointed the yellow one. That's the red. That's the green. I'm watching where he's pointing. He just over and over again pointed the same things, and by the time I got to my thing, I'd memorised where he's pointing.
Right.
Which is probably what everybody else is doing if it's colourblind anyway. So what's the point of doing that test? The test is pointless.
I think that one is not a test. That one you've got to rephrase yourself. That one we call it ritual.
Yeah. But I said what they should be doing like like we have in Australia, which is the letter test or a shape test. What shape is that? Can you see that 20 feet away? And if you have to put glasses on to see it, then I'm sorry, you need glasses to drive. And so when you get pulled over by the police, they look at your license. Well, you're not wearing your glasses, mister. There's a fine. Sorry.
But it's so much stringent and more.
Well, that's Australia. Australia is just basically it's a nanny state that's over policed.
Right.
Ralph's up to work. 20 people watching. So see a Ralph. Often see dogs sleeping in the middle of the road. That's very, very common. Joe, we get dogs sleeping in the middle of the road. I don't think I saw any on this ride, but there were dogs in a couple of sections there. I'm pretty sure where I slowed down because they can run at you as well. Actually, it wasn't this ride. It was when we went out to the hot spring. Unfortunately, that ride footage, I actually ran out of. What happened? I can't remember. I ran out of battery, I ran out of battery on that ride. So we're getting out to the last leg of the ride there. Pack of dogs. They sleep in the middle of the road, and as soon as you start riding past, they start chasing the bikes. It's fucking bizarre. Soy dogs. Too old to care at my age. Same statement too. But anyway, but this is what it's like out in the as there's no traffic out here. We don't have dropping to traffic. Just a few
What do you
idiots.
mean by three tosser? I don't get it.
What's that?
Three tosser. As Stephen wrote it in the chat. Three tosser or something.
3 tosses. Thumbs down. Idiots.
Oh.
Tossers. They're giving themselves a hand job, right?
Right.
That's it. They're a tosser. That's an Australian slang term.
Or UK term called wanker, right?
Yeah. In the UK they call it a wanker. In Australia they call it tosser.
All right. Cool, man. I learned some new words.
Yeah, learn a
instead
new
of
word.
Thai.
Learn a new word today.
Yeah. I'm actually more keen on learning more English thingy rather than Thai, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like you gotta like get all the way back to reborn again.
Yep. So we can see the lake off in the distance there again. There's one other. There's KD. I didn't realise KD was behind me. I think they stopped up the road and then waited for me to go past. I didn't see where they stopped though. And so now they're overtaking me again.
Oh, at least they wait for you. Not bad.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This is the bigger group that we ride with. There's 2 groups I ride with. We do have a smaller subgroup, which is me, Goy, a couple of guys that weren't on this ride. That's our smaller group. And when we ride, I'm usually the ride leader because I've got the navigation to know where we're going, and I set the pace. And I tend to stick more towards the speed limits and they go for the cruise. But then, of course, Goy will want to do something fast. They say, well, on you go. But what we need to do, we need to get better communication going. So there's something I've been working with Bob, and I've actually got my helmet wired for sound and been testing.
They run on Bluetooth, right?
No. I've actually, the thing I've bought, you can't really see it. It's all wrapped up in the helmet. But I bought insert headpieces, but it's like a cable. It's like the inside of your helmet, your earphones, not plugs like this, but they sit inside the helmet, and the boom mic, and it's a cable version. And so what I bought was it wasn't quite long enough to reach the phone mount. So if you're not navigating, you could have your phone in your pocket. It's long enough, and you use line. So while you've got wireless access, like 4G, you just set up a line group call.
But you hit nuts when you go to countryside, right? The signal, everything will be all.
But as soon as the call comes, as soon as the signal comes back, like my map's still working, so I've still got signal all the way out here.
Yeah,
right. So
yours, but how about other rider? Maybe theirs is not working also.
Well, I'm on DTAC, and DTAC's probably the worst when it comes to the country. But that's the 300 millimeter extension I need to plug my headphone set in my helmet into my phone.
3.5 milli jack, is it?
Well, it's 300. That's 400 millimeter. This one. You can't.
TRS 4 pole.
What's that one? What
the jack where there is 4 contact.
Oh yeah, that's got the 4 contact. You can't really see it there. It's got the 4 contact on it.
Oh damn! You got to do solder on that.
So that's a full 4-way communication stereo microphone thing for your phone. But yeah, so we've done the testing locally, but we haven't tested it really on a ride yet. But we've got these things set. So we're using line and our phones to have a group call. What we need to do is when we start riding this season, I'm just going to show them what we're using. It costs like those center devices. Those centers are what 13,000 baht for a good one, and you've only got 800 meters. Okay, there is a mesh, but if one person in the ride goes outside the mesh, the whole call breaks down.
Right,
and then you've got to remesh. If you're coming back in, you have to remesh again. Right, so you've got to ride as a group. Whereas with this sort of thing, as long as you've got wireless access, okay, go and burn up road for 5 kilometres, but stay in contact and then slow down at a service station and we'll catch up. So I'll set the pace. I'll be the ride leader, but I don't mind people riding ahead. but at least we're in communication. If somebody gets caught at a set of lights, you could then sort of say, hey, I didn't make that set of lights, just slow down to the next one and wait for me, you know. Unfortunately,
Right.
KD didn't know that I missed a set of lights, and we had 12 in the group, and, trying to keep 12 bikes together without communication is almost impossible.
Right.
But even in our smaller group, we use a lot of hand signals, and we know where everybody is. And we do always sort of, when we're riding, we're not doing such a longer ride as this, and it doesn't really get so broken up per se.
So how much does the headset cost?
The ear things that go in the helmet with the mic boom was I think $7 US.
Oh, you brought it in from US?
Oh no, I'm buying it from AliExpress. So that was I just use US dollars. It makes sense. Most people know US dollars. They do an automatic conversion. If I say it was 150 baht or something, they'd know. They wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about. But it's about $7 US for the headset. I think this cable here was an extra $3. Right. You obviously need a mobile phone, but if you're not using a mobile phone like I am on the handlebars, your mobile phone will be in your pocket, so you don't need the extension. I needed an extension cable. But as I said, I still do need to do some more testing. And here's the grip. I've just finally caught up the grip again. This is the section that's really windy around the lake.
I'm actually quite interested in your little adventure on that wireless thing. Yeah.
I'll let you know how it goes. It's going to take a little bit more testing. We've done static testing. We haven't done any ride testing yet. We don't know if the sound level can be amped up enough so that you can actually hear it inside the helmet.
Okay, my question is, your static testing is like what, side by side or what?
Oh no,
You're having one.
No, I was here in Nong Kem, and Bob was in his house at the other side of Bangkok, and we're just talking to one another. We got our helmets on, testing it out, right, using line, and I said that's how far away he was 70 kilometres away, not a problem.
Right.
So it's way better than these bloody headsets. But I've got everything bookmarked in my thing. So once we got it all sorted out and know everything's working properly, we'll have everybody do that to their helmets, and then everybody will have our riding grip stuff.
But I have another problem is that some of us are using iPhone.
It won't matter that's why we're using Line app. A Line app is available on iPhone.
iPhone doesn't have any headphone jacks.
Oh, well, that's your fault. That's the thing. Yeah, Bluetooth, on the other hand, that sends to be a bit less reliable because you've got a half-second delay with the YouTube with the Bluetooth signal the decay, and they can be problematic. But I have actually tested it. I've tested the same thing. I've got a little. Where is it? You should see my desk. It's in there. So I've used this little Bluetooth thing here. This is my Jabba. I've tested tested line with my Jabba, and that works quite well, but it just doesn't pick up well in the helmet. So that's Bluetooth does work with line, but you need a good Bluetooth kit because don't forget you've got your helmet on, and you're going to need to be able to sort of get the audio without too much wind noise. Obviously the kit I've got in my helmet works really well because I can put the microphone behind the mouth, behind the chin, so there gets no wind chop. So I was talking about the slippery. So this leaf litter on the side of the road here, KD almost came a cropper on this stuff a bit further on. It had actually gone right across the road on a corner, and he was going too fast. Wasn't here, but you can see how it's all littered across the road because there's not much traffic through here. But it's like ice. That's the sort of stuff you've got to watch out for in Thailand. Unserviced, covered roads. And there's a lot of this road surface here because it comes up on you. You can't see the unevenness of the road as well. I know I got a few pretty hard jars on my back along here. Yeah, this is why we drive all this way. The guys on these sports bikes love this road because it's really windy. I've got a cruiser bike, so although I can lean it, I can't lean it as well as what they can. They can get really off the, really lean into these corners. I can't. Not for comfort anyway. My riding position doesn't really lend itself to, sliding across on your seat, because I don't ride on my feet. I ride on my bum. That's of course what they call a forward riding position with the feet forward pegs. You can't slide off your seat to get more angle, if you know what I mean. Whereas in a normal sort of crutch rocket sort of style, you are taking a lot of your weight on your feet, so you can easily slide in your seat to get a bit more corner. But yeah, a lot of leaf litter here. That's the thing I was watching for. That's why I'm not going too fast. And I'd never ridden this road before, whereas they had. There was a nice big drop-off pothole. And it's a pretty old road too, so it doesn't get as much servicing as other places. Here's me wandering. I'm going around the corner. My head's bending. Yeah, that was one there. That one fucking jarred. But yeah, I said I'd probably go out and do this ride again, but probably with with a not so fast group. As I said, in our smaller group, we've got three. I've got the Vulcan. This fucking idiot! What the fuck? Stop in the middle of the road, why don't you? Yeah, why not? Yeah. So I got the Vulcan. I got Paul. He's got the Harley Davidson. We've got what's his name? Jai. He's now got the Triumph. So we've got three cruisers in our group of six that normally ride. Then we've got Goy. She's got the 850. Oh yeah, the MT-09, the 850. Dan usually rides with us on the Davio. Who else still rides with us? Bit of a mental blank there. It'll come to me later on. But yeah, that's our smaller group, and we do the smaller rides. 2-hour rides is probably our limit. We go coffee shop hunting.
Oh. Actually, it's not the ride. It's actually hunting for coffee shop.
Hunting for coffee shops, yes. Well, Paul knows a lot. Pretty much, Paul knows every coffee shop in Utia. So we've done the Utia ride a few times. That's always a lot of fun. I think it's one of those long rides I've got. I got long ride footage to Utia.
Well, it's interesting actually going through all those unbeaten roads and new discoveries and all that. Yeah.
I actually had no idea Thailand got so dry. Look at the foliage and the trees here. I actually had no idea it got that dry at this time of the year.
Yeah, when it rains, it turns green again. Don't worry.
So this is probably what was it, April? New subscriber. Yeah, this is probably April this year. So this is just before March, April was it? I can't remember exactly.
Songkran?
Well, I really can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's around that time. So it's the end. It was the end of the cool season. It was starting to get warm. So it might have been March. I'd have to go and find the video. What video date? Which is not going to be easy.
But you have so many videos. How do you store them?
On hard drive, and on the cloud.
On cloud. Wow. It means you got to pay a lot.
Well, cloud. I said YouTube is the cloud.
Oh.
So the raw footage I keep on USB drives. Once it goes to YouTube, it's up on YouTube. But I've just got this one here. I also save all my YouTube video uploads onto my hard disk as well. So I got easy access to them anywhere. But primarily, this one here.
I'm like actually so worried of being a vlogger or something like that in YouTube, and it's like how do we housekeeping our storage, so called as the videos, musics and whatnot. It's so headache.
You just do what I do. You have You have multiple hard drives.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm not going there, Warren. I'm not going there multiple. I'm like, actually, I have a 4 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and 1 terabyte. That fits my purpose.
Yeah. Anyway, I just found
I'm
out
not,
this is 10th of March, so this is at the end of the cool season. It's starting to get warmed up again. So
right.
we have this thing. We have the rainy season where everything goes green, but by this time of the year, right, they're actually starting. They're getting bushfires because it's so
No,
dry.
it start to push back nowadays, the
Yeah.
season.
And even sort of in places like Isan and the northeast of Thailand, they've been in
Flooding.
drought. They've been in drought for 9 months, and then the
And
rainy
now
season,
flooding.
and then they're flooding now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all been pushed back. Because as you remember, the April is their Songkran festival,
Yep.
which is the hottest month of the year. Then all this has been pushed back to all the way to the raining season in July. July, August is the raining season in Thailand, which doesn't rain.
Yeah.
And then after that, you get pushed back until to September, October. Around this time, everywhere is flooding. Even my wife's place there is flooding.
I also see these concrete railings they got. I wonder how effective they are stopping a car from going over the edge. They might be alright for a bike, but I don't know about cars. I'm more right. The reason why my speed's not as fast as I probably could ride, I just don't trust that leaf litter. You know, it's not easy to see. You know,
Right.
well you can see the big leaf, but you can sort of see there's also an area which has got like the small stuff, the more small browny stuff, and there it is. There it is. It's halfway across the road there. You know, you just don't know where it is. You're coming around a corner, and it could be straight across the road. I think just there underneath the shadow, you can't even see it.
Oh.
You know, and that's what I'm more worried about. You know, you got the shadow on the road, so you know you could be taking that, and if you hit a patch of that stuff, you can really slide out. So that's the hairy part of this ride is, you know, they need a street sweeper to go through first. There's more of this crap on the road. And of course, I'm not using the whole road. I'm trying to stay between the yellow line and my corner, and so the road goes to half width. So I've got a very small window to get through as well.
Yeah.
Because if you start riding under the side of the road, you don't have some cars coming. You can't see around the corner. All these blind corners there, you know. And again, a car could come and fucking wipe you out, you know.
For safety purposes, just wait it out.
Yep. That's it.
Because in Singapore we had this called defensive driving course or defensive riding course or something. I think it's good lah. It's good as in like it gives the awareness, like if you're a driver or you're a rider, and have to have that perception of a defensive driving or defensive riding, you know.
Yep.
That then after that, from there it reaches you down to like when you perform a ride or something like that, at least you have that positive mindset, like thinking like, oh, if this happens, then I shouldn't be harsh or rush about it. I should wait it out, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you know, it's all part of these small little techniques that I learned in my driving school, and it saved me quite a number of times.
Well, we have a saying in Australia, I don't know if it's globally sort of said, but it's better to arrive a few minutes late than dead on time.
Yeah, that's one way of saying. But this just a proverb, and then if there are instructors or people that shows you footages, videos, and things like that, you know, at least you realize that it looks so real and so convincing, you know, to tune your mind into defensive riding. Yeah. It's not like, you know, some people, some older people can say, oh, it's better to be late than never or something like that, you know. It's a proverb, but there are some people who can't grasp the meaning of it.
Right.
So they're in riding school, there are people like conducting all these courses and all that, and then they just get people to participate, try out, and then learn, and then after that feedback, and then how do we get from there, the problem and things like that,
Hey, so
it's actually basically part of the learning curve.
Williams is saying great views. Some people have actually suggested, why don't I get one of those 360 cameras and mount a 360 camera on my bike and do a
Right.
ride with the 360 camera, so that so you can actually, like where that fairing is, that I put it on the top of that, so that they can look ahead of the bike and then they can look around, they can look sideways, they can see me riding and everything else. I'm going, yeah, it's something I've thought about, but you know,
But it's going to consume more battery power, right?
well, that's what you got to think about powering it, and then of course I'd have to then mix an effort separate as sound source and things like that. So because that would just
Yeah.
and it had a wind buffer as well. I'd need to get a good mounting system for it so that it would take out the shock, because I'm pretty sure those 360 cameras have got absolutely zero stabilisation. I don't know how much they can record in any one sitting. I think you probably only get about an hour recording, but
Yeah, actually, as we were discussing, actually, there is a lot of background tests and checks on all these new features and cameras and all that.
yeah.
It's not simply that they just like putting it on YouTube and like, oh, everybody take a look at this, and then there's like, oh, not really that much from it, and then you just buy it from Taobao or Lazada or whatsoever, just hook it up and then you are there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that easy,
Well,
you have to come back and then with a video clip and then do editing and all that.
Anyway, it has thought has crossed my mind. If I can see, I've got something in mind to try, but it's going to come down if I can get a good stabilisation system. Now, this Sony camera does have what they call a handlebar stabiliser. So it is a proper mount, and it does use, that standard. Well, they probably can't easily get to it. Come on, open up. So this has got the standard screw mount for the camera. So it will be the same mount, which means I could pretty much mount any camera that has the same screw mount.
It's quarter-inch what?
I don't know what.
Quarter-inch threaded.
Well, it comes from
Quarter-inch threaded.
photo-inch thread.
Quarter-inch thread.
Oh, quarter-inch thread. That's sorry. I was just trying to work out what you're saying there. Yeah, but so GoPro, I've looked at the whole GoPro range. They don't have what they call a stabilisation mount, and of course you're really relying on what they call the optical
The new one
the digital
does. The new one
stabilisation.
does, but it's too pricey.
Yeah.
So why not go for the alternative, SJ Cam or something
Well,
like that?
this has already got stabilisation in it, but the mount is supposed to be for use on motorcycles. But if I could adapt the mount and the 360 camera, it may be an option to do a sort of a what they call a 360 ride. I'll just take a different separate audio source and then mix the two together. Just to give you a real feel for riding in Thailand. It's been crossing my mind, but I've been waiting for the cool season to turn around. We've already had rain today. Look in the window at the back. We've had water on the window, so we've obviously had a rain shower. I forgot his name from this chap from Singapore. This is our Blue. Richard Taylor has joined us on the Discord. Richard, there you go. Hey, Richard, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Not too bad at all. This is Blue from Singapore. Richard, he's from, I think you said, from the States, aren't you? Or you're in England? I can't remember.
I'm in the States, Colorado.
Colorado, that's it, yeah. And we were having a long chat with you the other night.
October 19th, though. So.
Yep, we're going to get together for a beer, are we? Well, I'll be drinking lemon juice or something with vodka in it.
Oh, man, I plan on getting together, yeah. And I probably won't be drinking beer either, so yeah, it's all good.
I'm just looking at the rain view. What's the rain view I got on it? Yeah, we got a bit of rain around Bangkok, but not too much. Well, it's actually building up. Looks like we're getting a bit of a build-up of it's coming in from the northeast. Pause.
Doesn't it rain every day?
I don't know. So you probably can't see the rain viewer map there. It's Yeah, all the blue is going to go invisible, isn't it? I'm using the blue. I'm using the blue chroma key, so anything blue goes invisible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I found it ironic that I was talking to a girl in Phuket, and she was complaining about how hot it was, and it was colder in Phuket, Thailand today than it was in Denver, Colorado. So
Right.
there you go.
Well, we're only in the last. We've almost finished this ride anyway, which is the length of the video we're going for. Got 10 minutes left in the video. So you joined us late, but it's good. It's good. Better to arrive a few minutes late than dead on time.
I ride a Harley here, so.
Oh, nice. Stick to scooters when you come over. Don't try to get a big bike. You're more than likely to kill yourself.
Oh, can I take a taxi?
You'll be right. The scooters are okay. If you've ridden a bike, scooters will be okay.
Oh.
I've been riding since I was 7, I think, or 8.
Right. 15 for me.
Oh.
Dirt bikes. I've raced quarter mile roundy rounders and speedways, motocross. So I've ridden about everything over the years. So
how many ankles have you sprained?
I've broken a few bones.
Broken a few bones.
See, I knew it. Because these dirt track bikers they are really extremists.
Yeah, well, I didn't start dirt bikes until when I got back to Australia.
They're like some kind of those those Canadian hockey players. They're really all out kind of guy.
Yeah, Jesse says so. Yeah, always wear shoes on a bike. Don't. I noticed something. I come up in my feed the other day. There was some gravel.
Matter.
There was
it
some
can
gravel.
Be full body gear and they still get hurt.
Yeah, but they've got these what they call riding sandals out now.
Yeah.
Riding sandals? Come on. Oh, really?
Marketing.
Okay, so they got extra padding across the toe area for your gear changes.
Marketing.
Yeah, there's a few potholes along here and a bit of gravel on the road. I thought these guys were ahead of me, but they were behind me.
My feet don't fit anything but a pair of boots. So, yeah.
Well, I've got some good leather boots, but I've also got leather shoes. I tend to wear more because I've got problem with my arches, and I haven't found a proper pair of boots yet that are really comfortable for me with my fallen arches and things like that. Plus, I've got arthritis in one of my toes, so I have to have a lot of clearance in the toe area as well. I have to take what they call in Australia a double E fitting for a shoe. So the shoes I'm wearing when I ride, they're full leather, but they're a wide fitting, so they don't pressure the point on my toe.
I have steel-toed riding boots that I wear a lot of the time, but
yeah. But again, so there is a particular brand of boot, but I just haven't bought them yet that have got what they call special venting in them, because that's what you need here in Thailand, because you're riding in 35-degree heat here, and you're pretty close to the road, and your feet really get quite hot. They just don't, they breathe in leather, but they don't really breathe enough, and it can get really uncomfortable after 3 or 4 hours.
I find it kind of, well, you're from Australia, so you understand, but when people talk about, it's too far to ride from for Southeast Asia, I laugh because I ride 2,200 miles or about 3,000 kilometers to go to a bike ride.
Well, you're not the same Richard that I met at met last year at the Harley ride, are you?
I go to Sturgis every year. I go to Daytona, Florida.
You're not the guy I met. No, we took video with at the Harley Davidson ride when you were out here last year.
I've never been to Thailand.
Oh, okay. Because there was a guy here last year. I got him on a video from November last year. We went to do a Harley Davidson test ride, And he was from Florida, and he was talking about the ride from Florida to Sturgis every year he does.
I don't know how you guys get through this. It's hot and humid.
Oh,
My God.
It's a bike ride. We're riding bikes. Those are only pretend riders worry about heat.
I'm like,
exactly.
I mean, you just put away with the heat thing, or just act along with it, or what? I don't know. But all I know is that the heat and the humid. Wow.
Well, this jacket I wear. I got what they call a mesh jacket. I do need to get it off and get it dry clean for this year. It's freaking looking filthy. But yeah, so the mesh jacket, it's got a good venting, good airflow. So we stop here for get the grip together. We've only got another few kilometres to go.
I wear a Kevlar jacket, and it's all vented and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Goy's saying, go left, go left.
I've been sitting there watching the video on YouTube, and I thought, shit, I might as well jump into Discord.
Yeah, well, that's what it's there for. Yeah, people like I said, Stephen and the others do the video hookup thing, which is all a lot of fun. But I suppose I could do that, but I said I wanted to give people, because a lot of people are a bit camera shy about getting on camera, so that's for the whole idea of the voice. And again, with the Discord channel, I'm trying to build, I've been trying to build the community with my website I put up, but nobody really seems to be looking at wanting to join another Facebook-ish thing. So
actually, this is like more for gaming, right?
Yeah, well, Discord is originally gamers, but I've been watching Tokyo Drew with his channel. He's got lots of his followers now are quite active on his channel, on his Discord channel. It's like his private chat forum, you might sort of say. So they can share links, they share chat, they can go on voice, which is what I'm trying to do here. So I want to now build up the Discord as a community where people can just jump in. If I'm home, I'm usually got my headphones on and plugged into Discord.
So at the same time, you can keep out of trolling, right?
Yeah, and of course, if you come on and start trolling, well, that's it. I'll just ban you. But again, look, I'm pretty sure people who want to, trolls do it because they think that they get a kick out of it. But unless, of course, their friends are seeing it, they're not getting a kick out of it, so they're not going to bother trolling you anyway. Well, they probably will, but they'll probably troll me now because I said that their friends can't see it.
I mean, in Discord, how do we know that there's trolling or what? I mean, there's people talking.
Just behaviour, that's all. But it is private. See, the problem we got with troll. Look, I will get down and dirty with the best of them, off YouTube. I might have a few expletives here just because I'm an Australian, but I try to keep swearing to a minimum. But if they came on and started being an arsehole, I'd be an arsehole right back to them. Don't you worry. Plus I'll be able to track their IP address, and I'll be able to track where they're living and everything else. But that's another thing altogether. So it's my Discord server. I'm the control, right? I have full insight into everything, right? And I can backtrack and I can find out who these people are.
Okay, let me check with you. Let's say if they use a private VPN, so how can you track that?
Well, you can't. They're doing it, but would they go to the trouble? Most trolls are just trolls because they're arseholes, right? As I said, we talk about the trolls we get. Like you said the trolling that you get in gaming channels. A gaming troll, they'll DDoS attack your server just to bring your server down. Because they can.
Right.
People can't DDoS YouTube because it's YouTube. But they can definitely cause a lot of congestion. But this is such as life, People just, some people are just arseholes. Even if an arsehole, just mute you. It's all right. What can they do? They can type some expletives. I'll just delete them. They can come on here if they start swearing or swearing too much. I'll just mute them.
Wow.
Then they're going to go through a 5-minute. That rather than the 2-minute exercise they can do for this, they go through the 5-minute exercise to go and get back on Discord with a whole new account and everything else. But such is life, People are right. Some people just are arseholes. That's what it is. Yeah, fig jam.
Yeah, we have 750 people on our Discord.
Do you? Yep.
Yeah, and
there are 9 of us, right?
We have never had a troll problem on Discord.
I think it's just again, trolls are just dickheads. They're what we call useful idiots. Anyway, that's the end of the ride.
All I know is that I don't have anything to do with them. And I'm trying to evade from all this whatever that is unnecessary things.
18 seconds to go. Yeah, we actually catch the ferry across here on the way back. Yes, it was me riding, so that's my face. It was me. I didn't fake it. Anyway, so there we go. We finished the ride. Okay. So we've been going, that's just over 3 hours, 3 hours and 10 minutes. I think we've probably had enough. Everybody had enough. Has everybody had enough? Still not 19 people watching. Trials require medical help, exactly right. And Patty MD, where exactly is Guy on the bike? Oh, that was Sisawat, up in Katsanamburi. That was where that ride went to. I'll do another. I got a few more. They said when I do the rides, I usually I have been saving all the ride footage, and I save them in a separate folder on my hard drive. So I've got that. It's nice and easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one article I was going to just mention just on closing. I was mentioning this to Stephen yesterday. So let's bring up a web browser again. Where are we with the DuckDuckGo? And where is this link? I don't know if anybody caught this one here. We always sort of get on the case about Thailand and everything Thai and everything else like that. But this is typically what happens to the overhead wiring. This was down in east of Bangkok, down near Bang Na. But the article goes on and talks about the fact that these fires break out probably 4 or 5 times a year and take out these cables, and they're quite hard to manage.
Uh-huh.
DuckDuckGo, lol, change one later. Change one letter. DuckDuckGo, well, they couldn't get. Somebody already stole the name that they want, but they've stuck with DuckDuckGo. Not going to go into that sort of whole thing. So as trials require medical help, we're actually to resist. So what? Too much of a good thing is not too healthy. Nice stream, Wazza. Just got here. Andy Stubbs, how you doing, Andy? We'll have to obviously rewind and watch the ride. DuckDuckGo, yes. I've been painting outside window frames. Fun. Yes. Well, if that's what if that floats your boat, then paint away. Better than watching it dry. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I just thought I'd please those cables. Yeah, they are doing something to remove this eyesore of the cable systems in Thailand. But again, the biggest problem is the fact that we've got a water plane that's only sort of 3 feet below the water level, medium sea level is only 3 feet below most of the roads in Bangkok. So the ducting that they have to use for any sort of under road cables or underground cables has to be really very waterproof.
I was thinking in a way that in the future, if there's these wirings and all this ducting no more, and Bangkok will lose its authenticity.
Well, it's going to lose a little, but if you look at Sukhumvit Road now, they've actually got the cables off Sukhumvit Road, and it has lost a little bit of its uniqueness, but again, it doesn't look so much like an eyesore now. I do think like this sort of stuff, this fire stuff that happens all the time now, and what it is, most of it's just what they call disused cable connections, because everything's fibre. Pretty much all fibre in Thailand.
It's all happening in Bangkok. In outskirts.
Pretty much all the fibre connections in Bangkok is all underground already. But this is all redundant cables, and they're not being used. They're just sitting there. They're not being used. They're not being paid for, but nobody's bothered to take them down. That's it. When they come down, when they get a fire in them.
No, you got to understand the game plan. When somebody needs the service and it requires people to put up those cables, they pay.
Yeah. But they said
right?
nobody's putting them up anymore. They're just nobody's taken down.
So now the game plan changed. When nobody needs the cable is still there. Nobody wants to pay.
Yep.
Got it?
Yeah. People worry about the fact that won't people get electrocuted. Well, normally they don't because the power is actually above this. The normal GP power doesn't run through this cable system. This is just telephone cables and what they call
ADSL.
Not just ADSL. ADSL is on copper. So ADSL will probably be part of the coverage there, but it's also the cable. The cables we're talking about. Cable, the HF cable, the high frequency cable that they use for the cable services, which is pretty much
for the TV channel, right?
TV channel. TVs tends to use dish now.
Yeah.
But this stuff here has been here for 20 years. The trouble is nobody takes it down. That's it.
That's why I'm trying to give you the differences. When people need the service, they get people to put up those cables. When nobody needs the service, they don't pay anybody to bring it down.
Which is the same thing. I think we'd been a far better planet if all these people if it costs something to do that, then how about we have I just saw on my Facebook feed this morning, like some guy has invented things you put on your fingers here. Right, you put on your fingers here so that you can eat something with your fingers, so that whatever the food doesn't get on your fingers. What a waste of plastic! There needs to be a tax on that shit, really. Because it's going to end up as landfill. How about we put a tax on to dispose of the crap you're inventing with plastic before it comes to the market, and maybe it won't come to the market to start with. That would be a good start. But that's the trouble, the petrochemical industry has got so many freaking damn grants to, like dispensations and everything else because it employs so many people, and they need to employ the people because no government wants to go to 12 or 15% unemployment rate once they close down anything with these byproduct industries from the oil industry. It's, But anyway, that's another rant altogether. Jesse Rogers, if they were, they would be yelling, I got sick water buffalo. Yeah, stop using big words, Warren. But anyway, have we all had enough? I could go and have some lunch now. I think many sick buffaloes. I think there's way too many sick buffaloes in Thailand than there are actually buffaloes in Thailand, but that's another point altogether. So right, see some. Jessie's saying she's seen some panties tossed on some of these cables. But anyway, so that's the end. Where we go back to the OBS. Let's go back under the scare everybody back there. And anyway, it's been great hanging out with you guys today. The regular Saturday one, the long one. That's what we're here for. Try to have a bit of fun. Now I'm going to think of something for next Saturday. I'm going to go and. What can we talk about next Saturday? Look, I'm in my Discord. Okay, what have we got? Let me just do this as a closing thing on the Discord. Let me get out of your face again. I think I've been through this before. So this is our Discord, right? So what I've done is I've opened up the lobby, right? So I've got a general chat, which is this window here. Introduce yourself. Live stream suggestions. So you come in here. If you've got some suggestions for live streams, come in, put something in there, give us some suggestions you might want to see. Stephen's already given me one. He wants me to do a walkabout live stream. Something I've got to work out some technicals. I need to get this little device here. I need to get, the only way I'm going to be able to do a live stream properly is to get, let me go back to this thing again. Go live stream, is to get this handpiece sort of thing here and mount the phone here, there, and I need to work out a second mount for another, because I can't, to do the live stream properly, I can't read what's on the screen because you've only got 5 lines when you've got the landscape version of the screen. So to get more of what text is scrolling, I need a second mount down here for the phone down here as well. So, and run 2 screens tethered. It's something I've got to design and work out to do walkabout live streams. It's something I'm planning on doing. What else is there? So live stream suggestions. any travel questions or any about travelling in Thailand, just whack it in there. Movies and TVs, a couple of TV series I've been watching lately. I found that were quite good.
Netflix?
Yep. Useful links. That was a thing I posted last week about global warming. What games you're playing. Latest videos. I will be putting up my latest videos in here as well. Normally when I'm on voice, I'm on the lobby, which means that if I'm in the lobby, that we won't be streaming. If you come into this, if they see me and streaming here, it will mean the fact that you will be part of the stream. So that's why I've done the two little voice channels. And of course, this is obviously if we're gaming, if we're playing a particular game on my, then we'll be in here. But at the moment, I'm more focused on building the community through here. I think we've got a lot of potential to do that. If we are gamers, then we'll go off to the Dark Horizons, and we'll probably do gaming chat in Dark Horizons, and this sort of will become more of, I shouldn't show Tokyo Drew's one, because of course you're not a member of Tokyo Drew's one, but that's what Tokyo Drew's been doing, and he's opened it up to all his subscribers and his Patreons, and it's like a little community that they can really work on, and it seems to be quite busy there. As you can see, there's always something. The little dot means the fact that there's something I haven't read there recently in the last 48 hours, and that was the last time I looked in there. But yeah, so he's been using it, so I'm going to also start to throw that out there. And g'day, Bossa Nova, how you doing? Pardon my English, but is Discourse an app? No, Discord. If you go back onto my channel, you'll find how to set it up. I think one of my workshop videos. It's this is an app that runs on that's on my desktop. You can also get it out on the web browser, and it also goes on your phone here as well. So there's Discord on your phone. You log in there. Of course, I got to log in because I haven't actually set it up. Have I logged it? No. I haven't even set it up on the phone yet because I've only just changed phones 2 days ago.
So after that, I have to re-log in again, right? If you next time you open up the chat.
Well, I've got you here now, so you're a member of the community. I've made you a regular, so I sort of seen you there. I've given you the regular role, so you've got full permissions to get in everything, which is the main thing. You might want to put a photo there if you want to make it look. People can't really see your icon there until they open it up, but you can sort of see there's my pinhead photo.
Because I'm using
Richard Taylor. Richard Taylor. I don't know what that is. That's like some sort of gaming stand. Yeah, we just have little fun photos. But yeah, this is
Hellraiser. You're a Hellraiser fan.
Oh, it's one of the best movies of the 80s. What are you talking about? I love that movie. I think it really lost the plot. I think after number 3, it really just degraded into something that really wasn't canon. It just got so far outside, the whole idea of the Cenobites and everything else. But I'm not going to go into lore.
Yeah, it's morbid.
Yeah, well, it became more morbid. It became more about the blood and not about the whole idea, the ultimate pleasure, ultimate pain. You all know by now I was into BDSM, okay? So you get the idea. So that's where it spins on. The Cenobites really, in one sense, epitomise the ultimate BDSM parlour, for want of a better word, into the body mutilation and everything else. But anyway, it's not that I was into body mutilation. I think earrings. Holes in my ears for earrings is about as much mutilation as I'd wanted to do. But some people, they'll get piercings all over the place.
Yeah.
So boss, there's a how to join, how to get on there. The links down below in the description box down below, and yeah, I'm usually hanging out here all the time. Just drop in, say hello. You can just voice chat. It's like a party line.
Huh? You mean I use the phone when I reach Bangkok, and then I'll just message you from there?
Yeah, it just pop me, because like if I got my headphones on, I'll normally pops up somewhere. I just haven't logged into Discord on my phone yet. That's all. I've just been slack. I've only finished setting it up. They've still got a couple of apps I haven't finished setting up yet. So. autofill from, see, it's not even bringing up my, the LastPass, there we go, autofill there. See, the autofill from LastPass is not working with this app. I have to send a support desk message. I'm going to do it all manually. That just takes time. I've got to copy and paste everything. It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, so this is what we're doing. So this is the lobby. This is where everybody hangs out. And I really want to see if we can build up a more of a connected community. People asking questions about Thailand and all sorts of shit. If you want to talk to me privately, about ladyboys and things like that, I've got a few people here. These are the private. This is like one-to-one messenger with Facebook. That's like a Facebook messenger, but it does have video. So so it's like Facebook Messenger in that sort of sense as well.
It's another kind of platform for.
Yeah, I can't show the video because as soon as I do that, it won't come up because I've only got the one cam. But it hooks into there, and you can do face-to-face, one-on-one video calls. They're talking about bringing in what they call group video chat at some stage. The Dark Horizon server actually had the beta running on it, where we could actually have what they call video chat. But recently that's been disabled. There's something they need more infrastructure because it actually costs more at the infrastructure level to
No, they don't have enough bandwidth to play with.
Yeah, they don't, and of course
it all has been saturated already.
Yeah, it is saturated, and they got different locations around the globe that the Discord servers, and to run video they need 10 times the bandwidth to make the video system relay work. That's why it hasn't been released, because they don't have the money. It's not like Facebook.
Unless somebody invented a new internet chipset. Somebody.
Jessie, Roger, I played Tomb Raider when I was 6. She said, I'm guessing Jessie's a young girl, because like Tomb Raider's only been out like sort of 20 years, isn't it? So that one should be sort of 26. What else have I missed there? So one of the PlayStation, one Tomb Raider, so 90s. Anyway, they're shutting against themselves. Anyway, so definitely get onto the Discord. Love to sort of talk to you and sort of let's see if we can do what Tokyo Drew's been doing. Any other sort of topics you want to bring up? We can make another text channel. You can obviously start using them to make them worthwhile. But outside that, I think we've talked about enough about Discord. Love to see you on there. And best way to stay in touch, and of course the best thing about Discord is it's away from the prying eyes of Facebook, and how that's it. They are now monitoring private messenger chats. Right,
Facebook.
Yep,
Really?
Yep, they are monitoring private messenger chats now.
It means this one is called what? They get into people's privacy and things like that.
No, it's basically an invasion of privacy, right? But as I said, their defence is, well, it's our system. And you've agreed to the terms and conditions. We'll scan what you're talking about in your private chats there to present more advertising to you, because that's what we're selling. We're selling advertising. I've actually seen ads in my private chats. It's got to that level. I'm going, what the fuck's this shit?
That is something new. I picked it up from you today.
That's the way it is. This is the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of me. I'm going to play my closing tune.
Okay, I'll catch up with you.
And where are we? 100%. There we go. Thanks for joining, and we will catch up with you. Thanks, Richard, for dropping in. Thanks, Blue, for dropping in. We will catch up with you next time, Monday night for the local Australian crew, and